What's up, everybody? Welcome back to your favorite wrestling podcast. It is the Monday Night Wave, baby. And we back with another episode. Shout out to everybody tuning in from Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, wherever you're listening to. We appreciate it. Our hearts. Thank y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in with us. We got a lot of wrestling to talk about. I go by Jay, a.k.a. one half of the co-host of The Wave. But you know what? It's about time I pass the ball. I swing the rock over to my co-host real quick. Hold on, let me bring him in one time. Mr. Heroic, would you do the honors and introduce yourself to these people?
He is a wild card. He is the king of gorgeous. He is Mr. Sexy Ass Lottery. He is Hero, and I am he. And I am glad to be back. Welcome back to the Monday Night Wave, you guys. It is good to talk wrestling. And
these graps off.
I guess I got a question for you. Loner Lashley. We'll do that one. Loner Lashley. Bobby! Mona!
Bobby!
Mona. I got a question, bro. What do you want to pot about, my man?
It is a great day to pot about wrestling, people. Big topics, we're going to go through today. We're going to go through Raw. We're going to go through All Out in AEW. We're going to go through Smackdown, premiere on USA. A lot of great things are happening this week. A lot of dope things happen in the week of wrestling, man. I'm excited to talk about it. But before we get into all that, we do got some news to talk about. Let's break down the news real quick. Top of the list, and one of the most things I'm just so excited. That sounds crazy to be excited about somebody's demise, but Def Rebel, the contract is expiring. All right, the contract is expiring. Mm-hmm. They looking like we might not go this direction because maybe it just wasn't hitting. Actually, it was not hitting.
Well, yeah, Triple H and some other people, they are canonically online, and I'm sure they see the countless tweets and Instagrams and etc. of like, what this shit is trash, yada yada yada. So yeah, I mean, how do you? Well, you said you're kind of excited. I guess how I feel is I don't want to say I'm excited, but I'm glad. I'm glad that we might be trying. I'm glad that they're going to try something different. And it's not that Def Rebel doesn't have any hits. Like that to say that they have no hits would be that would be a lie. But like it's about like maybe 20 to 80%, like 20 hits, 80% is just like it's just super generic. Don't know. Like when we talked about it with the Rumble, like almost every woman song was like, I don't know who this is. And I like most of them. Like it's like I like most of them, and I can't recognize their music. And the music, they're like that's something that should pop the crowd. Like that's something people are supposed to get
huge.
For, so.
That's supposed to be a huge pop. Speaking of huge pop, we got Meg is the official.
Okay, wait. Right before we transition to that part, which is it's all related. The rumor was that they might consider doing licensing music. What's your take on that? Like, do you think that they're going to go full Tony Khan and like he just buys, they just buy all these regular popular songs, or because the way I saw it was like it's either that or they get a Wale to do like Big E song, or like what they did, or they just get more famous people to do original songs for some of these stars. What do you think about that?
I think you could do both. I think you really could do both. When you think about like classic songs that were part of wrestling, they were coming from like real artists. If I'm not mistaken, I think Motorhead was doing Triple H's music, right?
Yep.
Lil Kim did Trish Stratus's.
Yep.
Like we have real artists making these iconic music or iconic theme songs that we know. John Cena did his, but Jake One was the producer, and it's like, yo, like these are instrumental to like these characters. I'm not sure who does voices, but I'm pretty sure that wasn't in-house either. So
no,
like
so.
These are all Batista's legendary songs. Yeah, I Walk Alone. What, bro?
Yeah, that's
amazing.
And then you got CM Punk stuff. Fucking Run DMC did a version of DX.
They did.
But speaking about that, that kind of transitions to what you're about to say.
Yeah. Meg is now the official theme song for. Meg has the official theme song for SmackDown.
Megan Thee Stallion for those
I think it's
uneducated.
called Never.
Never Play.
Never Change.
No, Never Play.
Yeah, Never Play with RM of BTS. And when I saw the intro earlier on Twitter, I was like, "Oh, this is dope. I loved it. I thought this shit was hot. I thought that Meg is a great choice. Meg is up right now. She's very popular. Like the energy for what they're trying to do matches. Yeah, I'm excited for it, man. I like it. I like the song. I want to see how it like settles in. You know, of course, they're gonna add more clips to the intro like they always do as like time goes on. But yeah, how do you feel about Meg getting the push?
I was fine with it. Yeah, I was happy with it. I like the song. I'm a Meg fan, mostly because of my wife, but I like Meg's music actually. Yeah. Yeah, and and what's funny is that, or crazy, is that the song literally just came out like last week, if not 2 weeks ago. It literally just came out, and the fact that they were like, "This is kind of hot. Let's just grab this real quick. Let's do this right now," is kind of it's. I don't want to say it's unprecedented, but it's we just haven't seen it, or at least not in a long time. Right. I haven't seen anything like this, and yeah, to me it's cool, and to me, I don't understand the discourse. And I think the discourse is passive. Yeah. Like to me, it's very passive aggressive racism to me, because it's like
1,000%.
This isn't wrestling music. It doesn't make me feel like I want to fight.
Where's the Rock at? Oh my god, bro! Like, I don't this hip hop.
And and like we talked about, like there's hip hop has been like intertwined with wrestling for very long time, decades. There is no quote unquote wrestling music, you know, like any music could be a wrestling music. Like there's no like fucking Ronda Rousey's theme. Like to me, that's not wrestling music, but that was her theme. Like I don't want to hear that shit. But like they're like wrestling, like there's no genre for wrestling. So yeah, to be like where's my Godsmack? Where's my Creed or some shit? To me, I don't know. It's appalling. It's heavily coded in racism.
It is. It made me like just disappointed, right? Because like I look at things from like a different level, to where like this is just the level of like how can I say this? I feel like fuck it. I feel like there are sections of WWE fans that are based really deep in like racism, like roots, because of like how the product was being displayed throughout the years, right? So like I feel like we've seen things that should not have been okay in WWE, but they are okay, and then it just makes it to where the fans feel like they can say racist and think racist shit instead of like nipping like bad behaviors like a long time ago. Because it was just that. It was very like racist to be like, oh well, this doesn't fit. Like, why doesn't it fit? Like, R-Truth been coming down fucking rapping "What's Up" for 25 fucking years, and y'all never said anything about that. Like, we had John Cena fucking freestyling. Like, there was nothing wrong with that. But the moment that, you know, we get this, it's like, I'm up in arms. I don't want to hear this. There's already people putting dubs over, you know, the cinematics, like, because they're so upset. It's like, it makes me just makes me mad, because it's nothing. No matter what we do, bro, it's always going to be a fucking issue. It reminds me of when they did the whole like I'm a huge Pokemon fan, and they did like the whitewashing of the Pokemon gym leader who was black for Sword and Shield, and I was like, damn, bro, like why does this affect you? I ain't never like seen something and be like, man, Edge came out to Slayer, bro. No, he should have came out to some Lil Wayne. That would have been hard. It's like, no, that fits the character. That's what he wants. That's what, like, and I love it. The Slayer fucking theme song for Edge was dope. I don't want to change nobody's character. I don't think that you should change, you know, something because you're unhappy with it. But I digress. I'm happy for Meg. I love the song. I appreciate it. I like the nod that WWE has given. Like, yo, like we pay attention to what's popping in the culture, like, or at least we try to. But definitely disappointed in like the fandom of wrestling for sure.
Yeah, and just to piggyback, like I think wrestling is still a niche hobby and thing. Like I think all wrestling, there's racism in all wrestling. I don't think it's just the WWE fans that have been groomed for it. I think I think it branches everywhere, because I feel like all the fan bases to me.
I do, but I think Vince's way of doing shit has groomed them to be a certain way. Like, I'm not putting that on Triple H or nothing like that. This is deeply rooted in the way VKM ran the WWE. Like, but I just don't know how. I don't know how to explain it. That's just how I feel.
No, I understand what you're saying, but it's like at the same time, there's rap songs have like there's been multiple rap songs for both Raw and SmackDown. This is not the first rap theme. NXT 2.0 had Wale on it. Like, yeah, this is not the first rap theme at all. So that's why I'm not like. That's why I'm kind of like in the middle based on that, like what you said about it. Like, but I do think you're right that there has been some grooming in the sense of like conditioning for like this kind of behavior, but at the same time I feel like it shouldn't be because there's multiple examples of theme songs having rap music. So it's
right.
Like,
it's just a platform. It's because your main show. You're on. How does she get to SmackDown? If this was NXT, it's fine. Well, that's just because it's SmackDown. That's the premier show.
Well, that's my second point. I think like is it just rap, or is it because it's a female rapper? Like, is it racism and sexism, or is it just racism?
It's both. It's both for sure. It's both for sure.
Because I feel like if it was Post Malone rapping, which he doesn't rap anymore, I feel like it would have been fine.
Nigga, if they did SmackDown to like the SmackDown intro was White Iverson, nigga, like they would have been cool.
Like MGK, like there's so many examples.
It would have been fine. If this was Eminem, it would have been cool, bro.
Oh man,
it's just because it's Meg.
Yeah,
like if that shit said, "Hi, my name," they would have been like, "Oh my god, classic." Oh, fucking shit. Standing like the realm of WWE, we have I believe TKO, the owner of TKO, came out and said that they'd be cutting live events. Or cutting down the amount of live events, and says that it's marginally profitable. And I'm bittersweet on it, right? I understand the aspect of like less live shows mean the athletes get to rest. I'm okay with that. They've been doing this shit for so long, bro. Like, and it's definitely messed up. I won't say messed up like their bodies, but it probably has put a lot of wear and tear on them. But on the other side of that, I see that like W tickets are not affordable to everybody. So when you hit these small market, like, you know, towns and whatnot, those are like, that may be somebody's chance to see that, you know.
Yeah.
They don't hit the small areas of I don't know, it's like a Eugene or some shit like that very often. And so to cut that off or cut that pipeline off to those fans, I do feel that, because that may be all somebody can afford. And WWE is definitely a premium experience. They are definitely advertising it as such, and these ticket prices definitely reflect that. So I'm in between. I want it for the athletes to rest up, but I'm also like, you know, thinking about the consumers who can't afford the premium cost. It's kind of like when they moved the Warriors out of like Oakland and they went to San Fran and nobody can go because now all the tech billionaires is going to the Warriors and shit. Like,
See, yeah, I didn't even think about that other aspect. Because most, like, the first thing I thought of was what you said was like, okay, this gives people a chance to be more with their families. Every single interview you hear where it was like, how's this new regime? Like, it's always like Triple H really cares about family, yada yada yada.
He does.
So that was the first thing I was like, oh, that's cool. So more days off, more time people can rest up and yada and all that other stuff. So I didn't even think about the other aspect, and you're completely right. Because if they don't go to there might be some people who can't drive. Like, if they live in Eugene, they might not be able to drive to Portland or Seattle to go to the SmackDown or Raw.
Right.
So yeah, no, I totally see that. So I guess I'm feeling the same way you are now, because I totally didn't even see that point, or I didn't even see that point online. But they're not. Yeah, so because I was looking at the quote, and I would try to read it real quick. He's like, what we're doing is cutting events at WWE. So we're taking our low marginal and marginally profit events, untelevised events that Vince had put in place to grow the brand, right? You're taking the show on the road, and we got to go to every city we can get to grow the WWE brand. The WWE brand, while we still have to grow it, it's on fire right now. So we don't need to carry these marginally profitable events. So what was 300 events last year will be roughly 250 this year, and next year will be close to 200. So they're still going to do around 200 random cities, but dropping 100 days to 50 days to like 150 or whatever. It's
incrementally is going to get smaller.
Yeah.
And he like the quote was cool because he said like, you know, it was done to grow the brand. Like we don't need to grow the brand. The brand is already as big as it is, which is a fact, and it's also a bar. It's just like I said, like you are now missing out on a target demographic, and maybe that's the case. Maybe it's like, hey, save your coin or watch it on TV kind of thing. That's how we have to approach it now.
Save your coin so you can go to the big city. If you live I can't think of Lubbock, Texas, but you got to go to Houston. You know,
this is funny because it reminds me of the first time I went to a live show. I think I was like maybe like 12. Like my uncle took all the kids and we all went up to see SmackDown, or what we thought was a SmackDown. And at this event, it was like Booker T wrestling the Undertaker. He ends up taking the Undertaker's belt, and I'm so excited to go back, you know, next week and watch, you know, the aftermath. And I go to watch. I'm like, wait, Undertaker still got his title. What? This is all a lie? What is this? And I had no idea what the fuck, you know, a live event was. But it was just because at the time Portland was a smaller market, and now like, or like at the time they came through, we watched the show, we had a great fucking time, and that was like I guess that's my live moment experience, or live show experience. But it's just like, that's important to have those kind of like fucking moments. Who'd have said that, like, you know, maybe I never would have been into it if I never went to go see that live event and whatnot.
Yeah, a live event was the first show I ever went to. Also, that's when I got back into wrestling. So this was like 28, I don't know, 2017 or some shit. And I'm very pro live shows. Like honestly, I like live events a little bit more than a TV, only because to me it feels like the wrestlers have a lot more fun because it's not canon.
Yeah, a lot more freedom.
Yeah, and like at the time I didn't know. Yeah, it was like, oh yeah, live shows aren't canon. I'm like, okay, yeah. So yeah, like that would have confused me, especially as a kid. That would have confused me as well because it's like, the fuck you mean this ain't canon? Like, what?
This was a filler episode?
Yeah, but anyone who's listening, if you have a chance to go to a live event, go to a live event. Like the wrestlers have so much fun. Like anytime you see any like clip from a live show, you see all the craziest shit. Like Triple H dancing with New Day, or just anything. The Rhea Ripley stink face she did to Nia that caused controversy, just shit like that. Like you see
the ones that kind of shit Solo, like Solo at live events, man. His clips are hilarious, yo. Just definitely check it out. It's definitely worth the purchase. Speaking of shows, we have potential fourth shows for both brands or both wrestling companies. We have AEW Shockwave, a possible fourth show that may be headed to Fox. That's what the rumor is currently right now. And then WWE is supposed to head back to NBC with Saturday Night Main Event. So, how are we feeling about the addition of these shows? What do you think? How would you process it? How did you process this information?
Well, with the Saturday night thing, Saturday night event, I think it was called. I honestly have no idea. To me, it was like, okay, it's one of those things that until I know more. Like honestly, it's the same way I feel about both shows and these new quote unquote shows. I need to see the product because like when we first heard about Speed, it sounded ridiculous, and it still can look ridiculous, but when it like we see what it garners as far as like viewership. I watched my first Speed match the other week. It was the EO and Lyra one, I believe, and it was a fire-ass match. And I just watched it on break, and so it's one of those things where I feel like I need to watch it because having like a Saturday night event, is that going to be pre-taped? Is that going to be live? Is that only going to be on Peacock? Like because you're already getting me to watch TV 3 times a week. And that's not on top of if you watch AEW, and that's not on top of if you watch TNA or if you watch a New Japan or a Stardom. Like there's literally like a wrestling show almost pretty much every day of this week of the week almost. Which there's 7 days, and that's just a lot of fucking wrestling. And as far as and as far as AEW goes, they trademarked AEW Shockwave. It sounds like a new show. It's rumored that it might be on a Fox thing, whether it's on Fox, just like how SmackDown was, on FS1 or on Tubi. it seems like what the thing that makes me interested in it is that it seems like they're shopping around, so they're not just relying on this WBD deal that sounds like every once in a while, like whether it's Meltzer or Tony, it's like either it's imminent or it's already a done deal. They're just waiting to announce it. As fans, we still have no idea what the fuck is going on.
No clue.
So in saying that, what makes me curious is, like, is it going to be a fourth show, or does this replace Rampage? Because honestly, you should just get rid of Rampage. And then my second thing is like, yeah, where is it going to go? Because it's hard for me to imagine it on actual Fox TV like how SmackDown was, especially with how like AEW is the alternative. We'll talk about All Out. Like they do some crazy shit, and we saw what Fox did to SmackDown. They black out random things. Like we don't even know why they're blacking it out. Like is it a sign?
Did the finger and they blacked it out.
So it's like I can't imagine AEW that there's a lot of wrestlers that cuss. You get all the blood, blah blah blah. I can't imagine it be on a Fox. If it's on FS1, I guess that's cool. If it's on Tubi, Tubi, it's going to be niggas is going to let the jokes fly. There's going to be jokes, but I think Tubi is actually a good get because of how accessible it is. Anyone can get Tubi. All you need is a Wi-Fi.
True.
It's free. Like there will be jokes, but if you can get on something that can be on literally every TV, laptop, or phone, that's crazy accessibility, and that will bring up your viewership in my mind. So,
and I think that the same thing can be said for like Fox, because for the most part, most cable packages do cover like Fox, right? So you gotta have Fox. My thought process was exactly the same with you. AEW is the alternative, and so for Shockwave, it's like y'all do some crazy shit, bro. Like y'all be blood and everything, like, and it just depends. Like if this is like a placeholder for, let's say we're gonna throw ROH on Shockwave to get them TV time. Okay, cool. We're just taking away ROH, and we're just gonna do AEW Shockwave, and we have this ROH talent there. I'm good with that. I also do agree with the aspect of like just getting rid of like Rampage, if that's the case too. Just merge Shockwave and the ROH tapings into like one thing, and we're good to go. I don't know if that's something that they're looking at, but I do know that with the trademarking of this, they're planning something. There has to be another like show somewhere down the line that they're trying to get on TV somewhere. And Fox is definitely looking to replace, losing SmackDown. So you might find something like you said, like we've been talking about. We don't know what the hell this could be. It could be just a fucking talk show. We have no idea. But
Shockwave is a talk show. There will be things that need to be talked about.
For sure.
It sounds too extreme to be talking like.
For sure. We don't know. We have no idea. But we're gonna be, the same tune and just trying to figure that shit out for sure. Shows going short, or not shows going short, but speaking of shows, like, cutting down hours, it's about time. The wrestling gods have listened. We are now getting on October 7th, Raw going down to 2 hours.
Yes.
I think I had the group chat with the Austin Rivers meme.
Yes.
And I was like,
had me in tears.
Oh my.
I legitimately had saltwater tears. I was like, this nigga is wild. And it was the perfect gift. It was perfect. But yeah, you said it was October what?
October 7th.
And yeah, so it's October 7th into December 30th, at least as of right now.
Yeah.
So you already kind of said how you feel about it, but you can go in more depth. Like, what do you think this means?
Like, there's just not saying Raw is not a bad show as with 3 hours, but sometimes not every show hits. Sometimes it's just more promo filler. Sometimes they're doubling back and talking to the same people they talked to before in the beginning of the show, and it can be a drag. But I like I said, I'm all for the 2 hour wrestling shows. I think that's the perfect like time allotted for it. 1 hour shows are kind of cool too if they're just like high speed focused, but 2 hours is perfect. 3 hours, it's just a lot of wrestling to get through. And just coming from like what we do, as far as like we take notes and we're watching all this product and whatnot, it can take up a lot of time. But yeah, that's how I feel. It's not saying Raw is bad, but just with focus it in a little bit more.
It could be a chore sometimes, you know. We'll keep it a buck. 3 hours is a lot. Like that is.
It can.
And to be committed to it every month, it's a lot. 3 hours is a lot of time. There's shit. Was it this? Yeah, this Monday after watching. I was hanging out at my in-laws' place after watching the Jets and Niners game. I was like, fuck, dude, I was in a hot tub 5 minutes ago. I don't want to watch 3 hours of Raw. I'd rather play Black Myth Wukong right now. Like I don't.
Right.
Fuck, I gotta watch Raw. So as far like my thought process is one, I don't want to say I'm overly excited. I'm kind of like neutral. I'm indifferent. I think it's a good idea, especially during football season. I think it's a good idea.
Fuck yeah.
And I've seen like some theories where it's like it could also be a test to where when they do go to Netflix, maybe not every single episode is 3 hours. Maybe every other episode is like 3 hours, like where it's like the big go home shows, where it's the Raws before.
I like that.
Or because we have no idea what Netflix is going to look like as far as advertisement, as far as runtime, as far as how PG can be or won't be. Like we have no idea how that's going to work. So this could be them.
I think they said they're running ads. They're going to run ads on Netflix.
So then we'll just get like picture to pictures maybe. But yeah, I think for football, I wouldn't be mad if they did this every football season personally, where it's like let's make sure you guys get home. You don't want you staying up till fucking midnight all the time and shit. Like, I wouldn't be upset with it. It obviously they're pretty much saying it's not permanent, but yeah, it could be a test, or maybe it will be permanent. Who knows? But I don't mind 3 hour Raws, but those are like certain Raws. Like there's certain Raws where it's like, oh wow, like it's been 3 hours already, or it's only been 2 hours already. Like there's certain Raws where they fly by. But yeah, there are certain ones where it's like, fuck, dude,
this last one was good.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
It was good. I still didn't want to watch it at the time, but it was good. And I'm glad I did. Because then, Tuesday. Well, no, actually, I watched like a quarter of it, and I watched the rest Tuesday morning. Because that's how I was like, man, I really just want to play a game right now. I don't want to be.
Yeah, and that's how it be. It is a lot to just dedicate yourself to. Like, we found out now. We found out as we were doing this pod that when we first yeah, bro, we do a wrestling pod. Yeah, this is easy, no problem. It's like we were watching goddamn 8 hours of wrestling a week, maybe more, depending on PLEs and pay-per-views and shit.
Yeah, no, right.
Man, it's a lot. To get into to end the news cycle, we gotta dive into it because we didn't have an opportunity to dive into it before.
We about to end the negativity. Let's go.
Negativity, for sure. WWE fires Odyssey Jones over domestic violence, which was crazy because during that week when it was happening, he was off the show. They had moved him to the alumni section. It was wait, this motherfucker was just in a story with the New Day, hot fresh. Yeah. Woods was on the edge about to turn what it seemed like because he wasn't feeling what was going on with Odyssey and whatnot. And it just came to find out that he had a domestic violence dispute. Yeah, look, man, I ain't with no niggas putting their hands on women.
Nope.
That's just what it is, bro. Nah, ain't no fucking way. No. So you right. And I ain't seen the police report yet. I ain't seen nothing like that. I'm just going off of what
there hasn't been one
the news cycle has said. But yeah, man, that's just an instant no for me for sure. No matter what, get your ass out of there. Just walk the fuck away, bro. I tell it to all my little homies, just walk away, man.
Yeah. When it comes to this stuff, when it comes to DV situations, that's. They'll let some weed or something slide a couple times, or a DUI or something slide. But when it comes to DV, that's pretty much you're getting cut off immediately, especially if you don't have shit and properly investigated and whatnot. And to top it off, and we talked about this pre-show, but this happened in the same week, or right off the cusp of us hearing about Nikki Garcia's situation, her DV situation, and. Even though she's not attached to the company anymore, she is still synonymous. She's her name or her presence you see her, and the first thing you're going to think about is Total Divas.
Synonymous with WWE.
Yeah, so it's like, even though she's not attached, like, as you know, as a former company, and you have someone else have a DV, and you have a former client that, like, it's not a good look. It's not good for optics.
It's not a good look at
all. So I don't blame them. I'm honestly, like, yeah, they sent him to the shadow room real quick. Like, it was it's like, oh, he's an alumni. It was like, what? And then all of a sudden, oh no, he's gone. Like, there's nothing. Like, it's like he was never there.
Literally, I'm surprised there was no like New Day segment where they're like, "What happened, old boy? Who? Yeah, I feel bad for like the talent too, because like I said, they're building a story. Like, New Day already wasn't being used a lot, and they had a story that was cooking. Like, we didn't know where this was going, and that just all got halted. And now we don't know anything. Now they're just going for the tag titles, which is cool because that's just New Day. But like, we had the opportunity to kind of see like Woods or Creed kind of like get into, or Woods or Kof get into it. Yeah, we're gonna end it off on that, man.
Yeah.
Like,
I was gonna say they still might do that. They're just gonna have to pivot, and we're gonna get a super slow burn probably.
I mean, shit. Like, I hope so.
I mean, it was already going to be a slow burn, but also like, that's us speculating, because there was a part of me that thought that thinks Odyssey was going to turn on them, but I don't know. Who knows?
True.
Yeah, it is unfortunate, especially like when you're in the middle of a storyline. So dude was disappeared for 2 years, whether it was injury or some previous stuff. Turns out he had some previous cases. He's just not that good of a human.
Said some weird shit too.
Yeah. Yep. And yeah, so they put him on the block, but that's the wave news cycle.
Yeah, that's it. Let's just pivot out of that. Let's talk about Raw. Let's talk about Monday Night Raw this week. First hour was commercial free, and we jump into a 6-man tag, right? No, it was like it was an 8-man.
8-person.
It was an 8-man. It was 8-person, because there were definitely 2 women in this match. American Made versus the Wyatt Six, in the form of, I believe it was Rowan, it was Loomis, and
all of them but Uncle.
Yeah, all of them but Uncle. We could
said that. Gacy, Rowan, Loomis, and Nikki.
And then we got American Made with the Creed brothers, Chad and Ivy Nile. I liked it. This was a good way to come with like some heat, man. Like, I love like high action off the rip. Like, they wasn't no like we come out talking. It was immediate to the scraps. They got into it. There was, table spots. There's weapons involved here.
Yeah,
we got fucking it was definitely trash can spots.
There's a bunch of cool spots. There was a cool table spot that they did to Rowan. They buried him in the table or whatever, which gave him
what I think is so dope is that, like I said, once again, Rowan is like orchestrating. Like, he is like showing a lot of his talent. Like, the dude is the character of like him busting out through the tables and whatnot. Like, just, oh shit, it's like this Frankenstein monster coming after him again. Yeah. We got a fucking angle slam through the table. That was fucking dope to see. That was fucking mean. Nikki's out her German suplex and Chad. Like,
that was a good spot too.
It was a very entertaining match. Like that, like seeing that live must have been a treat, because that was really, really fun to watch. I left a note because after, like, post match when the Wyatt Six ends up getting the win, I was like, damn, they left bodies everywhere. This shit looked like a Dynasty Warriors game. It was just like everybody was just laid out. To go back into the match, eventually Uncle Howdy does enter the match, and he ends up Sister Abigail-ing Chad, I believe. And they were like, "Well, this was it."
I think he does 2 people. Pause, because I feel like he does. I feel like he's Sister Abigail's Julius, because he does a good sell. It might have been 2 people.
It might have been it. It might have been Julius. But yeah, like, he enters the match just because, like, there's no rules. It was a street fight. It's like, I've been sitting in this rocking chair. Somebody gonna catch these hands. Like, let's do it. What do you think about the story so far with the Wyatt Six? Do you think that we should see more of them? Should they move on past, American Made? Like, how are we feeling? What's the temperature check?
I wouldn't be surprised if we get like 1 or 2 more matches. I feel like it would be. I don't want to say a disservice, but I would think it'd be odd to not get Uncle versus Chad solo because we haven't got that, right?
No.
Wait, yeah, we haven't got that. Yeah, so I wouldn't. It'd be. To me, it would be odd if we don't get that. But my opinion on the Wyatts hasn't necessarily changed. I don't want to see them every week. I think they should stay baby faces, and once they're done with American Made, then to me the next clear choice is either going after Final Testament or going after Judgment Day. Once Judgment Day's once they get their storyline wrapped up. So until either one of those two teams get their stories wrapped up, I wouldn't be surprised if this feud continues a little more. And we get like some
actually no, we did get Howdy versus
Gable. Oh shit!
Yeah, it happened 2 weeks ago.
Okay, yeah, this might be it then. I don't know. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I don't think we recorded that week, so I didn't take.
That would make sense. Yeah. I think we do something in Bad Blood. Somebody got to get something. I think this story fits, like as far as like the Bad Blood that Chad did have or still does have, because they definitely attacked him and left him out there left for dead. So I think they can probably wrap it up at Bad Blood, and we can kind of like go from there.
Bad Blood already got its 5 matches.
Oh, that's already capped out?
Yep.
Damn. Well, look, we're going to see that.
It looks like some heat too. Bad Blood looks like some heat. I might have to take work off.
Whoa. We got to get into that because there's definitely some questions I got for sure. We get a Finn promo. Finn's talking about, hey, yo, like, you held us back. I've been a loyal friend. I'm down since day one. And you over here like belittling me.
Treat me like a sidekick. I ain't no
what?
Finn Balor ain't no sidekick.
I ain't no sidekick. What?
But yeah,
I sat there. When he said that shit, I was like, about fucking time, Finn. You ain't no fucking sidekick. You Finn fucking Balor, bro. Like you
Prince
one of
them
ones.
Bitch. You know what I'm saying?
Well, like what?
Go.
Like you just don't get in the ring with anybody. Like this is Finn here. I can't wait for like just that full Finn to be like unleashed, man. Like it's been a minute since I saw like Finn actually be like Finn. Yeah. And then we get like Jay.
Wait, before that, how do you feel about the FXXX part on Finn's name? I'm fine with it because like X's have always been part. Like he's always done like a FX in or something like that. Like X's of like he's always used an X in his name at some point, but like this one had 3 X's, and I was like, oh, this he being freaky Finn. Let's go. We get freaky Finn.
I didn't even notice that. He said 3. I got to go back and look that up. That's
it was
funny.
It was on the not a Tycatron. They don't use those anymore, but it was on the screen and it was on the side. The screen. On the side of the.
I got to go back and check that out.
Yeah, it's FXXX. I was like, oh, what the fuck?
Is
this Skinamax Finn? Let's go.
Jesus Christ. As I'm watching it, I was like, man, I don't know why Jay is even here. And Jay comes out. He gets
well, before Jay comes out, Priest comes out, and they have a quick
back and forth.
Yeah. And Priest is like, I don't even want to talk. I'm about to fuck you up right now. And Finn's like, hold on, big partner. Like, would you forget about the rule book? He's like, hold on.
What, the rule book?
Nigga, I made the rule book.
I created the rule book.
then another. What's funny about this with the Judgment Day feud with New Judgment Day versus Terror Twins is that they keep trying to jump them and it never has yet to work. Like they've gotten on top now 2 or 3 times, but the sneak attack from behind doesn't work. Every single time someone tries to come from behind, they automatically catch them. It's just stop doing it. Come from the side at this point. Or, like, I don't know, parachute in. Because the Batman shit ain't working, my guy. Like every single that shit was funny. But
you're right.
But yeah, Jay comes out to help out because Jay was in the match the previous week in Raw when he got attacked.
my thing is, why is Jay here?
What
is Jay's purpose?
Mommy.
What are you doing here? You know what? I wrote in my notes too. I'm like, bro, your whole brother got executed out mafioso style, but Rhea needs help. Oh my God, we're gonna save Rhea. We just watch your own flesh and blood get stomped out. No nothing. Seen the niggas in the pay-per-view. Didn't say nothing. It's like, what's up, man?
Because fuck them. What you mean? He has every reason.
Your blood brother gets stomped out by the family, and you just like, nigga had it coming.
I mean, you know, Jimmy cost him like 3 different titles. You know, they gonna get back together, but you know, it's not his business. He left that show.
This ain't his business. That's my point. Is that like this ain't his business,
right? But he's trying to take mommy to Waffle House, so he's trying to make it his business. It's like, my business is your business until we get our own business.
Facts.
And then business will be good.
Oh fuck. Next matchup we get Bianca and Jay versus Alba and Isla, and I did enjoy this match a lot. I thought this match was better than the tag match before.
And it's just, Berlin.
In Berlin, yeah. And I may have to eat my words because Jade looked great. Like, Jade was out here fucking walking power slams and shit like that, and that's what I want to see from Jade, is like the power, but not like in spots, and just full display of like, oh, you out here like military pressing motherfuckers. Like, that's what I want to see. Like, utilize that strength. Although you can't do it every time. I get it. But this was a demonstration of Jade's strength. They look great. The whole green outfits were fucking fire. Like, it was like, yeah, I'm cool. Alba and Isla had a great fucking match as well. I thought that like in the match, like they do like the wheelbarrow move, right? Like the Bianca and Jade. And this one looked like it had a DDT attached to it, which I don't know if they were doing that before, but this one had a nice additional piece to the finish, and I was like, oh, this is cool too. So they're trying shit out, they're trying new stuff. What was your thoughts?
I thought the match was good. I feel like, I don't know, because I don't want the Unholy Union to go be stuck in the Shadow Realm. They were finally getting a decent amount of push. I like both those ladies. So like, I just hope that this isn't them being gone for like random amounts of time. Especially because we still really need to flesh out this women's tag division, and they are trying. It's just, you know, it's not a little too late, but it's not a little too late, but it's also not trying hard enough. I don't know. It's somewhere in between. They are trying with this tag division though, but overall the match was good. I just am worried about Unholy Union disappearing. I understand why they put the titles back on Bianca and Jade. It makes sense. I just hope that the other 2 ladies just don't disappear. But you know, the match was good
because they're great too. They're like, I get it, because like, you know, we are carrying over the belts or carrying over into a new season of SmackDown. We want our top people to be the eyes on SmackDown with the championship. So I get why Jade and Bianca has it. But I feel it's very simple. Let me say this very loosely. I feel that you didn't give them a proper chance to, like, you know, build themselves up as champions before the belts got taken away from them to where they could survive without the belt. This wasn't like Priest losing to Gunther and Priest is like Star just fucking shot the fuck up, you know?
Yeah.
So I definitely don't want to see them kind of like go away. Although I do understand, like I said, the business of putting the belts back on, you know, Jade and Bianca, because that is main attraction. You want them to be your champions as you have new eyes coming to you.
They're really good at doing press. I mean, Bianca's going to be in the Belair show. Like, seeing those 2 beautiful, strong ass women with the titles while they're doing like news cycles for the, you know, the towns that they're in.
It's just business.
It makes sense. It does make sense. Yeah. It's just, to me, it's like, okay, because again, they're trying to flesh out this division. Who can you build up to make, like, who are they going to be able to build up to make it make sense? Like, who's going to dethrone them? And when they do get dethroned, is those 2 people going to make sense? Because to me, as far as I'm concerned, Bianca Belair can beat a majority of the roster, men or women. And Jade is almost at that level too. She just doesn't have the skill set fully yet, but she has the appearance and the strength to where I could see her taking on a fucking JD Madonna and winning easily. So it's like, who the fuck are going to beat these two women? Because Bianca could beat majority of these women 2v1. Like, we've actually seen her do it. I'm pretty sure. Like, so like, you know, she's KOD and Piper, Nia's, and all sorts of. We've seen her KOD 2 people at the same time on some John Cena shit. So it's like, who are you guys going to be able to build to make it like whoever, like, to make a credible threat, to make me believe, like, because the reason they lost the titles the last time was because of a triple threat, which made sense because it's like, it's hard for me to imagine someone pinning one of these fucking Amazon goddesses. Like, it's hard to see. I mean, there's Io Sky. I love Io Sky, and I can see it. It's just, you got to make it credible. You got to put these other women in positions to make it seem credible, to where it makes it believable that they're going to beat Bianca and Jade. Because I don't think it's I think they could take on most of the fucking men. So, like, who's going to beat these women?
At this point, I think you are kind of hitting it on the head to where, like, you got to outnumber them. And the only team that I think is currently full is Pure Fusion. So it might be Shayna and Zoe. And that's the best that they have in that women's division.
That's not good enough. That's not good. Bro, if Pure Fusion Collection gets, bro, hey man,
that's the best. That's the best team. They're the only team right now that's constantly getting, like, you know, runs and matches. They have, like, the story elements. They have a whole new group, a new name. They're investing in this for some reason. We just haven't got there yet.
Yeah, yes, and you know. I'm trying to let it play out, and I like those 3 women individually, but as a group, I'm not fucking with it at this moment. Like, I'm trying, but the name is terrible. When they came out in this show, I literally wrote. Well, I mean, we'll get to it. Fuck it, we'll get to it. But yeah. Anyway, where the hell are we at?
Bret Hart.
Yeah. Wait, no, Braun. Oh, wait.
Remember, you got to fill me in. Like, Hulu be cutting shit out.
No, you're right. Yeah, we're at women's tag. So yeah, Bret Hart comes out because they're in Calgary, Canada, and then
the legend.
Yeah, Gunther comes out, and man, again, his talking skills, his promo mic skills is just so underrated. Like, he's such a perfect troll. Like, he is.
No, he is.
He
is, bro.
Because he be saying shit like, it's not even like, it's not like super scathing. Well, no, it is. Like, he can say some shit that's just as, like, deep as what MJF will say, but it's not as, like, edgy. Like, he doesn't.
It's dry. It's like dry humor, like dry comedy. It's like,
but it also hits me deep. Like what he said with Priest is like, but you street chats, bro. Honestly, your parents failed you, my nigga. And like like the shit that he said to Biz, or the shit that he said to Gable,
sorry, you were poor.
You're a bad father. I'm glad your child cried. Like, it's shit like that where it's like, I don't know if it's his voice, like his Austrian Arnold Schwarzenegger voice, but there's something the way that he says shit, and it's like, fuck, man. I don't know, that hurt my feelings. But he trolls Bret, and it's so good. He's like, dude, you know, I like you. You're one of my favorites, but my favorite. And you could tell, like, he was holding his back because he was like, he like, the ring is secret shit is not a gimmick. Like, he does not fuck with Goldberg. I will put money on that. He does not fuck with Goldberg.
No,
but he says that, hey man, Goldberg is my favorite over you, and you can tell he's trying not to laugh. like, it's the most I've ever seen him almost break character. Like,
yes. Like, that shit was fucking hilarious to me, bro. It was the way he said it, the way he delivered it, and like the look on Bret's face was like, "You motherfucker!" Like, you know damn well I can't break character right here, but you know that shit hit. That shit hit deep.
It did, because we know how Bret feels.
Oh, for sure. He then says that Canadian champions will, or he says. Oh, Bret says Canadian champs will take on anyone. He's like, you know, nobody should be afraid of, like, you know, going to bat or going to war with you. He said Canadians will fight anyone. At that point, I was like, oh shit, they're doing Sami versus Gunther. I was like, oh, again, which is cool because the first time they did it, that shit smacked.
Yeah,
like
this time Sami's not gonna win. It's part of the story, but
I mean,
Sami's not.
Yeah, come on, bro. We know this shit. Like, it's gonna be a great match. Great match. Good
fire.
Good participation. You about to go out there and go crazy, but you're not taking that belt off that man. I honestly don't see anybody like close.
Yeah. Sami comes out. He's wearing the Johnny Hockey jersey from it's Gaudreau brothers who recently passed. They were part of the hockey team. They passed to the DUI, which they give us a tribute. Or Jackie Redmond, who she covers hockey, she does a cool tribute. So that was a cool thing, and also it was cool, which it didn't register, but I saw it on Twitter because it didn't register at the time. But like when Sami debuted, it was during a Bret Hart segment. So having this moment again where it's like Sami comes out, not to save Bret Hart, but to be in that aura, it's a cool, not an Easter egg, but you know what I'm talking about.
The callback.
Yeah, callback.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, Gunther still says no. He's like, he's ducking.
Yeah,
it's like he's fighting you, bro.
It's like, no, bro, I didn't already beat you. You're not even worthy. Like, no, and nothing. I love that. I love the simplicity of just being like, no, bro, I'm not wrestling you. I'm walking off. Like, you want me to promo with you and tell you why? No, just walk off. I love that shit. And Gunther's the best person to like deliver that because what you gonna do? You ain't about to scrap him. You ain't gonna do nothing. We then get Bret that gets kind of like pumped up and calls Gunther or he says he looks like a dirty yellow coward, and that prompts like this brawl between Sami and Gunther around the ring. Mm-hmm. So we're probably going to get that. That's probably going to be the match of Bad Blood or one of the matches, I would assume. It's not already confirmed. It's not.
It's not in the
okay. So, that's probably going to be a Survivor Series. We're going to look at. Is that the next one up from here? Yeah, October, November will be Survivor.
Yeah. Which is in Canada. Cool. So honestly, that makes
that also that fits. That fits.
It fits.
Drew promo. Drew comes out. And I have the line here.
Before that, we get a 6-women's tag. Natty comes back.
Oh, okay.
Baby faces win.
We did.
They
cut that.
I'm gonna keep it a buck. I skipped this match. Well, to be fair, it's because I already knew the outcome, and I'm over PFC. They, as the kids say, they have no aura. When they came out in the entrance, I was like, "They're like, what the fuck, bro?" Like I like all tough. 3 of these women. I do, but the name is bad. They have there's no stage presence. It's just 3 gray individuals just coming out. Like they I beg you people to watch this entrance and tell me what does it get? To me, it gives nothing. Like they just come out. And they just look, wait for the right song cue, and then they just start walking. It's like you're not even that's what Roman Reigns does, but there's so much aura to it. There's so much you can see the characterization in his facial expressions and his body language. Like they just come out. And it's like, all right, it's to me, it's how I go in when I clock in for a shift. I'm here.
Damn.
That's the energy it gives me. Like, nigga, I'm here.
I'm here.
It upset me.
Okay. So I do understand because you do have to have a cool presence for WWE because they are such an entertainment focused company. You got to have some kind of aura. You got to have some kind of juice or branding or merch or something. And it just doesn't do it. Shayna by herself. I've seen her do it. The submission magician when she out there just breaking motherfuckers down is fucking dope. So when you put her in this team, I expect kind of the same energy to transfer over, but it just has not transferred over at all.
No, man.
Nothing.
None of them. I'm a fan of Shayna. I'm a fan of Zoe. I am a fan of Sonya, but none of them have that much charisma. Like that's why they were like
it's true.
Their previous tag team members. Like that's why Sonya was with a Mandy or a Shayna. You know, Shayna. Well, I mean, she was with Zoe at a point, but you know, she had a Ronda. She had a fucking. She was with Nia at a point where like that was more.
It made sense. Yeah,
know?
It made sense.
But yeah, they just like they don't even pander to the crowd. Like at least like boo and yell in a kid's face or something and rip up a sign. Like they dead ass just don't do shit. it's like the very
it's a tough watch.
Yeah,
it's a tough watch. You're
it's
right.
like when you make a character in a wrestling game and you don't do the entrance yet. So you just have the default entrance and the niggas just walking.
Damn.
Superstar 6. That's what their entrance is.
Nigga, I'm almost walked off this bitch. Superstar 6. That's so disrespectful, cuz. It said Superstar 6. That's fucking funny. Oh, man. Look, we won't beat a dead horse. We're going to let them lie. All right, we're going to let them lie. We do get a Drew promo. My notes for this is that Drew is he's coming out hot. He told Wade Barrett, he said, look, you my friend, but if you get in my face again, I'm going to fuck you up.
Man,
I don't care about all this extras.
I popped when Wade stood up, bro. I was like, but yeah, Drew was on his shit. He's like, man, Punk thought this shit was over. It's like, nah, nigga, this shit ain't over. And, you know, I was beating his ass last week, and, you know, but there was someone who stopped me, and, you know, that was my homie, and I'm afraid I got some bad news. And I was like, oh, shit, let's get it. You know what I'm saying? But, yeah, Barrett stood up, and that's when Pierce came out, and he's like, nah. See, like, he's like, bro, you lost the plot. You're about to fight your own friends now? Like, that's how fucking bloodlust
twisted you are, yeah.
Like, yeah, you're about to fight your own homie. Like, you lost the plot. Well, guess what? CM Punk, he's healthy-ish, and now we got a match at Bad Blood, baby, and it's gonna be hell in a cell.
So first thing I thought was the clip of like the fan talking to Punk, like, "Oh yeah, y'all should do it in like an cage match or hell in a cell." He's like, "Never." So
don't
like,
fantasy book my shit.
He's like,
don't fantasy book my shit.
And so like, it's funny to see that come to fruition. To where like, you know, you gonna be in this cage, and maybe he knew all along. But also, yes, now you speaking my language, as Jackie Chan said in Rush Hour. Like, we are in a hell in a cell. Put these two men together. Let them scrap it out. This is what I've wanted from the jump. It's just like the collar match was really close to it. I think I kind of preferred it without a strap match, without the lights, and them just beating the hell out of each other. But it led to this, where they will just beat the hell out of each other. There's no stipulation. There's no strap match. There's no nothing. Just get in. No special guest referee. No nothing. Actually, your boy been kind of quiet. I don't know what your boy doing, but we ain't heard. Yeah, we ain't heard or seen or nothing. He owes somebody a nice punt kick too, or a stomp. My bad. He owe. And they got to set it up. It's coming. We now in Q4 of like, you know, Rumble and shit like that. So like Survivor Series,
he gonna stomp that big New Zealand.
He need to get his lick back.
Australian ass nigga. He gonna stomp his head, bro.
Fuck him. He need to get his lick back on Punk. Punk over there GTSing him, and he just walked off, and the referee shirt all sad. Nah, it's time to get that lick back.
He's professional, and he was about to mix him up, and that's when he was about to fight him, and that's when Drew distracted him, and then fucking Bronson Reed came out of nowhere. He gonna get his shit.
I forgot this nigga. He also got to deal with Bronson Reed too.
Yeah, he got to. Yeah, he
got to spin the block on a couple people.
Yeah.
But yeah, I am excited for this match. I do think this is going to be very pivotal in the story that we get between Seth and Punk, because you know that's where they want to go with it. I want them to go there with it. I think them two in like the promo battles. We thought the promo battles with Punk and Drew were hot. When you get Seth Rollins a mic and you get CM Punk a mic and just tell them go, you're going to get some great shit. There's going to be some bars thrown. There's going to be some feelings hurt. There's going to be some real shit. So I can't wait to like see how that plays out.
As much of a stan as I am, I think Drew is a better promo than Seth. But I still think the promo battles will be good.
I think Drew's promos are good because they're not personal, right? Like he's just throwing shit at like
he put shit the beads in the bloody nigga's mouth, bro. Like,
no. I mean like. My bad. When I say promo, I mean actual like him talking and him shooting the shit at like Punk and whatnot. I think bar for bar, Seth versus CM Punk is gonna be better than bar for bar Drew versus like Punk. But as far as actions, that man Drew's tripping. That man, he took the bees off. He did put in that nigga's mouth. Pause. Like Drew been tripping. This man was beating the hell out of him, and they opened the garage door up on him, and he was beating the hell out of Punk. So actions, Drew definitely got it. Bars, I think we're gonna probably see Seth get at CM Punk. So yeah, we get a Hell in a Cell match. We get a quick Ray versus Finn match. And Ray looks great. I don't know if the stem cell treatments have been working, but if they are, you can definitely see it because that man is moving around like it's 1994. He is looking great out there. I don't got a lot of notes for this match, but I did definitely put down that Ray he's looking 120%.
Yeah, Ray looked good. Finn Balor he always looks good. And match ends in a DQ. It's a way more aggressive Finn. It ends because he doesn't take he has a submission lock on him while on the ropes, and he doesn't listen to the 5 count, and he keeps that shit on. Good shit. And makes Finn look aggressive. No. It makes it easier or not easier, but it allows us to be able to take him serious because he's going to fight Priest, which him and Priest fought in NXT, and that was a really good ass match too. And Finn won that one. Not that matters, but anyway, it's going to be a good match. This is a match that is at Bad Blood. Should be fire. Real quick before we go to the next show, because there were some things we skipped. There was a Dirty Dom Dragon Lee match that was cool. Dirty Dom won. Damage Control talked to Big 2 after they won their match, so we're gonna get some Damage Control and Cocoa Butter Combat Club with some stuff. And then there was a backstage segment where Karrion Kross is trying to get in the Miz's head, and then Xavier interrupts, and then that's how we find out that Kofi and Xavier have a tag team match this coming Monday in our home city. And that was Raw.
That's gonna be kind of dope.
Yeah.
No, we got the 4-way.
Oh shit, that was the. Yeah, you're right. My bad. Yeah, that was the main event. Fatal 4-way. Peter Dune, Jey Uso, Braun Strowman, and Ilya Dragon. Oh.
And the crazy part about this is that when I hate doing this. I doing the deductive reasoning, but I was like, this feels like Jey Uso's chance to have this match. They've been promoting him and Braun. It makes sense. He hasn't had any gold. I don't think he's going to take it off of Braun at all. I think this is going to be a great match, but I think Braun's in this era. It's his bag right now. But nevertheless, still a very entertaining match. Still a very fun match to watch. They were all getting down in here. Biggest pop though is when we catch Big Bronson Reed, fucking tsunami Braun Strowman out of fucking nowhere. I ain't never seen a tsunami out of nowhere.
No, the way and it was through a table, announcer table.
What, bro? And it's the way the things are being shot. I'm paying attention to how they shoot shit now too, which is fucking great because you're so hyper focused on okay, Braun Strowman's on the table, and you're wait, what the fuck is that? Is that fucking Bronson Reed? Oh shit! Boom, straight through the goddamn table. Oh,
we didn't talk about it before, but obviously it was heavily coded that this was Jay's match. There was a part of me that thought that Braun Strowman was going to win though, and that they would hold off. Just because Jay is kind of intertwined with Judgment Day.
If he wasn't selling injury, I could say that. I could see that, but he was selling his injury, so I don't.
Well,
I mean,
they're going to get it. Well, it was announced today. We're getting in Portland. We're going to get Braun Strowman and Bronson Reed in a rematch.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I thought we get Braun. So yeah, also something that we skipped. So during this entire show, there's a moment where Bronson Reed Braun Breaker is he talks to each individual for participants of the Fatal 4-way. Pretty much is if you win, you won't fight a dog. Which again, based off his promos, I feel like we got to turn him face soon because he's as a heel, he's commanding the crowd. He's like, and you gonna go out there and you gonna hear some dogs barking, and the fucking crowd, you can hear the crowd bark.
The crowd's
the millions and it's the same shit. He's commanding the crowd. It's and no one wants to boo him. He's cool as shit. So at some point you're gonna have to make this dude a face. I'm sorry, but I thought it'd be Braun. Yeah. Honestly, I thought it'd be Braun Strowman just so that he could take down a bigger guy real quick. That'd be a cool achievement. But honestly, they heavily coded Jay. So the real question is Jay gonna lose clean, or is it gonna be Judgment Day or Bloodline and interrupt?
Because he's been poking his nose in people's business. I can see Judgment Day coming out and kind of like, you know, maybe interrupting that, which maybe sets up, you know, a possible Priest versus fucking Braun match. Like, and I can see that happening too. But yeah, it's gonna be a good match. I can't wait to like check it out. Like I said, I don't think Jay gets the IC belt, and so we're just kind of still stuck in like a limbo phase with Jey Uso. Like he's such an over wrestler right now. It just feels interesting. It feels like, where do you go? What do you do with Jey Uso right now? Like,
yeah, I mean, if you're not going to give him a
like
single
overachieving.
Title, yeah, I mean, yeah, and you know, like, if you listen to Rikishi, apparently he's being buried damn near, but no, he's over as fuck. He does deserve a single title push, whether it's mid card or main. He does deserve one at some point, but also like he's so over. Do they need to rush? Like he's over as fuck. Like he's always in the top 10 merch sellers. Anytime he does his entrance, he has literally one of the best entrances in all promotions right now. So it's like, is there a hurry? Probably not.
I don't think there's a hurry, but it's like you look at all the other ones who have like who's over as fuck. Cody has a belt. LA Knight has a belt. They just put the tag belts back on the women, like because they're so over. Like it makes sense. That's been like kind of like the philosophy for WWE. It's just that like Braun is also one of those ones where like his overness is gonna peak. He's gonna go fucking crazy when he gets there.
Yeah, and they want him to be the next, like they're positioning him to be the next Roman.
No pun intended.
Like, he's going to be they want him to be the next Roman at some point. So like
it's just a weird spot for Jay. It's a very weird spot for him. It's kind of like you're not being punished for being too good, but you kind of are, like from the perspective of like the viewer, just because like you are so fucking good. Like, what do we do?
Honestly, I would say make him the Stone Cold, to where it's like he shows up and kicks niggas in the face. Like if you can't give him a good storyline at the moment and you can't give him a title, or you don't want to give him a title, then make him the Avenger, to where like maybe he just has some one-off feuds and he's like protecting other baby faces. Bronson Reed wants to jump somebody. All right, well now you get super kicked in the face and get yeeted or something. I don't know. So because there was a point in time where Stone Cold, he was just doing shit. Like if he didn't have a title, he was just stunnering niggas for
I don't like you.
Yeah, it's like, all right, you know, F you, I'm gonna drink some beer, flip you off, get a stunner. You know, so I don't know. Maybe
that's it. Do something like yeet, that. And I'm a super kick you, yeet, and I'm out.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Yeah. All right, before we get into AEW and All Out in the Dynamite this week, we're going to take a quick little break because we got a lot to talk about here. We will be back after the break. Stay tuned.
Warp Drive.
Let's talk about All Out. If All In was the 616 in LA, All Out was definitely Meet the Gramps. This was the darker version of this goddamn pay-per-view, and it was a lot. There was a lot to get through. It was brutal. Show kicks off with MJF versus Daniel Garcia. They had a really great match. There was so many different spots in here. We have, you know, like a nasty little submission lock from MJF where he had like 3 of the 4 limbs locked up on Daniel Garcia. We have, of course, the biting in the heads of the foreheads and everything. You can just tell off rip that they are leaning into the darker elements of wrestling with this show.
I would say it's more of a shock value, edgelord show, and that's not necessarily
the alternative.
Rude. I mean,
the alternative. That's what they've been talking about. They've been saying we are not the same,
right? And they've proven that multiple times. But like, I don't know. This one was All Out, right?
Yeah.
Like, to me, All In was better because it didn't need all the. We'll get into it, but
that's a tough one. That's a great poll question. I need to put that up. That's a great poll question.
To be All In Wembley was better. I mean, I think both shows have good. Here's the thing with AEW: as much as I shit on it, which it's mostly pretty justified, their pay-per-views, even though they're long as fuck, the pay-per-views have really good wrestling on it. Like, if
they do,
like, and one of the frustrating things to me, which is why I shit on this product sometimes, if not all the time, is that to me their TV doesn't translate to the pay-per-view. Like, their pay-per-views are like AEW. They're not only are they alternative, but they say that they're the in-ring quality. They're the real wrestling, whatever. So it's like the in-ring wrestling is mostly good. Even the spot fest shit, like it's still mostly good. It's like it's not. Yeah, it's digestible to a degree, but to me that doesn't translate to their TV. I don't want to go into a tangent, but that's what, like, their pay-per-views overall are like mostly all their pay-per-views are good. You
get your money's worth of the pay-per-views,
even if you don't, sure. Yeah, even if, like every single pay-per-view, it's always the best one ever. But those are just like the overhyped fans. Like, but most, like, in a generalization, every pay-per-view gets a really good reaction, and you're going to see some really good in-ring wrestling in at least 2 out of the 13 matches that he gives.
And I wonder why that is. I'm very curious to why, like, their pay-per-views are very fucking good. To where, like, what's the switch to why the pay-per-views don't translate? The pay-per-view element doesn't translate to, like, the week-to-week. Is it because you do have to implement the stories, or is it because, like, they've been planning out how to do these matches or what to do in these matches for the 4 to 8 weeks that they've been on Dynamite and stuff like that? Like, I genuinely want to, like, I'm just curious to see, like, why is that?
It's a really good question for someone who wants to, like, do it. That's a really good thesis question. If anyone wants to write a college essay, like,
I would definitely read that. That'd be.
It just doesn't translate, and it doesn't make any sense. Like, it doesn't make any. Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't make any sense to me.
And
but,
to be fair, we'll talk about Dynamite, because Dynamite has gotten better with the story elements that they've been trying to tell, like, with the past 4 weeks. But to get back to All Out, MJF, Danny Garcia have a great match. This man spits a loogie on him, and I'm just like, that's where I draw the line. When you start, like, hop toing on a grown man, and it's like thick, and you see it hanging off somebody's face, it's too much for me. Way too fucking much.
Oh my God.
MJF gets the win in this match, and then we start seeing, like, Daniel Garcia go off, and people have, like, questions of, like, well, why didn't Danny just win if this is what you're going to do anyway? And Danny still hasn't resigned yet. This could be, either if Danny walks away, this is a great way for him to walk off. If he does resign, this still sets up the feud with him and MJF. It just leaves the door open for so many things. I do agree, though, to where, like, yeah, just have him just win the match if he's going to end up fucking pile driving MJF off the fucking turnbuckle.
Or the other option is don't have the match at all. And the reason I say that is because clearly they're dangling a carrot in front of him. He still hasn't resigned. And, like, granted, like, and we talked about this when we talked about Stephanie back here. Like, there's a part of Tony's philosophy where I do fuck with it. It's like, you want to give other people the spotlight, people who might not be signed to you. You want to put the, like, you're giving people a chance to showcase themselves, but by doing
showcasing talent.
Yeah, but by doing that, if you don't sign them, and then I'm WWE and I'm a scouter, you give them like now you're giving me like you're give like it. So like because the rumor is like, oh, they've been really eyeing Garcia, WWE, they've been really eyeing Garcia, and so like if that rumor is true, let's say that rumor is true, and this is all before the pay-per-view. So like, and he still hasn't resigned. So now you're giving him a chance to showcase his in-ring talent to further possibly for him to go to the other side. So honestly, it's not even post like it's not even evil billionaire businessman type of thing. It's just one of those things to where it's like if you're not gonna if he's not gonna resign, why are you giving him a 20-30 minute match to possibly have him be scouted by the opposition? Great, like so I don't know. I feel like it's just like they gotta. I don't know what the business room talks.
Unless he's staying. Unless the simple answer is that he's staying. Like that's if the contracts are being written up or whatever. Like it would only make sense. Like if he's staying. Like if he's already like processing the signing, just waiting for the fucking ink to dry, whatever. But I do agree that if he's not, this is just giving more game tape to the opposition. Not in a weird way, but just technically.
Yeah, and one of the things I saw, I don't know how true it is, but one of the things I saw was that it was one of those things where it's like, if he would have signed, quote unquote, if he would have signed, he probably would have won this match. But since he didn't sign, that's why he lost. And that's why the match was booked, like, because as good as the match was, minus the spit takes, which all that shit is gross, the ending is weird. And I feel like that, I feel like it's a fair judgment. MJF wins, but yeah, Daniel Garcia gets the last laugh by brainbuster and MJF, which is why he's going to be taking some time off. But yeah, it was just a weird.
I think he's filming.
Yeah. I mean, whatever the case is, but it's like it was just a weird ass ending. And so to me, if I'm TK and like I understand the optic, like I understand like all the storylines, preferences and whatnot. But it's like if he didn't resign yet, you could have just did this match on a Dynamite then. Because why am I helping you? Why am I helping you get game tape to go to NXT? Just so you're not to resign.
You're not going to NXT. I don't know. It was definitely confusing for sure.
And if he does stay, then where's the trajectory? Because he lost this match. So why and this whole thing again started because...
But to get back to what he wanted to get the international from Ospreay. I think that's where the story goes if he does sign.
Right.
But he is not respectfully, he is mid-card.
Right. But why would Ospreay... Why should Ospreay give him this match if he just lost? Like Ospreay was literally telling Ricochet, "Get your wins up, bro, so you can challenge me." Daniel hasn't got a win. So I mean, I'm just saying if we're making it make sense, which this Wednesday there's a lot of shit that doesn't make sense, but we'll get it. I don't want to get into tangents. Let's get to the rest of the show. But I just had to get that off my chest. It's just a weird ending.
Next up, we got Bucks versus BCC for the tag team titles. This is the second defense in two weeks, so Bucks are definitely trying to defend the titles more. They are listening to people of like, hey, fucking put these bitches on the line. The star of this whole match to me was Claudio. Like, Swiss is by far one of the greatest like talents in the ring. From
I don't think
the momentum he's carrying,
he's the best wrestler out of those four. I don't think that's a hot take.
No, I don't think so. No, I think that's fairly accurate. He was definitely orchestrating a lot of like the segments. He still does the fucking spinning around the ring, or he's holding people's legs, like just doing shit that is just freaking nature shit. Overall, this match ends in where like there's a splash where Yuta goes for a splash, but it gets reversed and into like a roll up, and the Bucks win. So we don't get new titles on the BCC, which also makes sense because they are currently the trios titles. I don't expect them to be double champions. It would have looked a little weird. This was purely just to get like off a good match, and they did that. So I have nothing bad or negative to say about this match. I just think it served its purpose. And also, Bucks are currently the best people to hold the belts. I was thinking about it. If the Acclaim had won, they wouldn't have been able to push like the heat aspect of like having like or being the villains or being the potential baby faces that people kind of want to see win right now. And with FTR, it's the same thing. Like you need a villain to hold the tag belts right now. I don't think there's currently a babyface tag team that's super over that's ready for it. We'll get into that because in the Casino Gauntlet match they have on Dynamite, they do throw out some tag teams. And there are a lot of good tag teams, but they're just not ready yet.
No, the tag team division, similar to WWE, is just not as strong right now, which is which is unfortunate because AEW, like when the first 2-3 years, like their tag team division, like they were it was heavily emphasized that they would focus on that, and right now it's kind of.
And the thing is, it's cooking. I'll say this because there's a lot of threads that they did show in the Casino Gauntlet match, but like it's definitely there's nobody ready to take the babyface role from the Acclaim just yet.
They're in the rebuilding process. You just lost your star.
Absolutely,
you got to rebuild right now.
Next match we get Pac and Ospreay, and this was a fucking banger. Like this was, if you ever seen an Ospreay match, times that by 2 or 10 or whatever. But like Pac was the one for this match being so fucking good. Big pop for Ospreay in Chicago. Avalanche Brain Busters, a whole bunch of like solid fucking spots in this match. My note here is that when people go back and look at Ospreay's career, he's going to have a lot of matches in 2024 in AEW that was just like that. His debut in AEW that are just fucking insane. Like the run he's on, Pac, MJF, Bryan, Swerve. Like it's been really good fucking matches with Ospreay. As far as like storyline where we see Ospreay going, I don't know.
Well, they're gonna. Well, the next big thing that they're gonna. Well, as of right now, he's. Spoiler for this one, or spoiler because when we talk about Dynamite, him and Kyle are gonna go for the tag team titles, which he may or may not win. We'll find out.
No, I don't think he's winning. But yeah.
Okay, but this is okay with what you just said. And this is not to discredit Ospreay because Ospreay is a great wrestler. It's just that you said it was an Ospreay match, and it is an Ospreay match. And the thing with Ospreay matches is that they're all the same. And what is different between this Pac match versus the Daniel match versus the Swerve match versus the Fletcher match versus the MJF match?
I'd say Pac. When I initially talked about this match, I said it was an Ospreay match, but it was Pac that led this match.
Right.
Like Pac was doing a lot of dope shit in it.
He's one of his better oppositions. That is correct. And I agree
absolutely.
And this is easily one of the better matches with Ospreay since being in AEW. The thing is that based on his style, all his matches are kind of the same. Which is why
I can see what you're saying.
Which is why I nitpick on the storytelling stuff. Which is like his feud with MJF, like the whole story with the Tiger Driver, that's something we're going to remember when we do look back on his career. We're going to remember that. But are we going to remember every single goddamn Canadian Destroyer or Sling Blade? And that's my only nitpick with Ospreay. And like it's not.
I do agree.
It's not him personally. It's kind of like this particular style. And
it's like they know his style sells really well in pay-per-view, so they lean into it without needing a story. It's kind of like they know that like he's going to give us a great match. We don't need anything to connect it to it, which is why you're probably right when we go back to remember Ospreay's like career. That you're right. The MJF run will be the one that you remember because he brings back the Tiger Driver. This was the international star versus MJF America's gimmick. It's you're right. That's a great fucking like way to look at that. Because had they given Pac and Ospreay a story thread, this would have felt a lot more important than what it was. If they let this cook like they did MJF and Ospreay, this would have been huge, especially with the way this match went.
And that's just me. Like it's a nitpick. It might be a nitpick to some. I think it's a valid criticism, and it's not a judgment. It's a criticism. It's just like I hope they change that because Ospreay is easily besides MJF, he's the. Take away Moxley, take away Bryan, take away MJF. Like there's only like 6 people that are truly big stars there, and Ospreay is one of the biggest ones. And I don't want to be old man yelling at a cloud when it's like you got to slow down, you got to sell more, blah blah blah. But if he did,
it's like what do you do when you can't?
you can. You just got to make a story.
What do you do? And the thing, you see it like you do, and that's what I'm saying. Like you had to lean into like the story aspect because there's a reason why, and no comparison here at all. But there's a reason why you look at like Super Seth, right? When Seth was out there fucking flipping over motherfuckers, doing the crazy shit, like he was putting his body on the line. But eventually, you have to transition into Seth telling stories, into Seth like he still can wrestle his fucking ass off, but he's not supposed to be doing these flips with the back surgery, the knee surgery. Like, you got to figure out some way to change your game from, dunking all the time to maybe I just want to fucking shoot middies off the backboard. Like, you got to be effective some way. And they'll cross that line when they need to, for sure. But as of right now, they seem to be leaning into,
sooner rather than later.
The aerial
I feel
part.
Like they're because I feel like they're going to rush. Usually they rush the matches. We'll see if Tony changes his method, but they're heavily implying this Ricochet Ospreay match, and we know what it's going to be. It's going to be fire, but it's going to look like a fucking Smash Brothers match with everyone at 300%. And
absolutely,
it's going to look like two. It's going to be the White Ranger versus the fucking Red Ranger, it's going to be some. It's going to be some fucking crazy shit. But then what after?
It's gonna be some anime shit.
Like at least you have to build to it and be like, oh, get your wings up, bro. Like that's not building up to it. And I mean the match is going to be good.
That's my criticism too. There is so good like in ring that like Ospreay needs a very good person on the mic. He needs somebody who's actually maybe a little bit better than him on the mic to hold the promos. Ricochet, oof. I mean, his promos need work. They've always needed to work. This is not an AEW thing either. Like this is
they always need to work. But this last one definitely, it was one of those moments where it's like, this is why. See, we're mad at me. Like, but this is why he didn't get the certain match or the certain like it was.
The difference is that like luckily AEW is a company that just does not care about talking. So all you got to do is have a really good match, and he did have a great match on Dynamite this week. But you're lucky you're in a promo that they don't
soft
really
launch. Tony Khan's trying to soft launch Sammy Guevara back on our TVs.
Yeah.
I'm not fucking with.
I did notice that. I did notice it.
He was on ROH for like a month, and then it's like, oh, we'll slowly add him to Collision, hanging out with Dustin Rhodes, and now
be mad at him if he goes against Ricochet.
And then it's coincidentally he's on the Dynamite that Mercedes isn't on. That's a coincidence. Anyway, back.
Anywho,
I'm sorry.
Anywho, the pay-per-view was great, or the match was great. I think they easily gave their best matches in AEW so far between both of them. This is the best Ospreay match in AEW I've seen. This is the best Pac match in AEW I've seen.
Ooh, man, him versus Kenny was fire. I would have to rewatch because Pac versus Kenny in like what was it? I think it was the second AEW show. It was I don't know. I don't remember when it was, but
I might have to go back.
It was heat. It was heat. It was some heat.
Might have to do a rewatch. But either way, definitely top two for sure. Coming off their heels was Willow and Stat, and this is my favorite match of the night because it's
the best match.
It's these women was cooking, bro. Like to come off the heels of an Ospreay Pac match with the way that match even went. To be put in this position to where instant like action, like nonstop, like they kept the energy up. Both women out there look great. There's multiple spots in this match that were like very like, ooh, fuck. I don't know if I would have done that.
Bro, she did it.
We immediately get
she let the
split on the thumbtacks.
Yeah, hitting her coochie lips. Not me.
Yo, that shit's funny. Like that's a sensitive area, man. Like you don't walk up normal after that. But we got Stat powerbombing Willow through the table. We have Willow blowing up fucking barricades, fucking busting Stat with like a tube of lights, like just very hardcore wrestling for women. And this is what I love about AEW when it does come to women's wrestling is that you let them do it. Like there's no you're a woman, you can't do it. Like just fucking do it. And they were out there hardcore wrestling, bro. Like, I love everything about this. Death Valley Driver into the fucking thumbtacks. She ends up in the match tying like wrist straps. She ties herself to Willow, or Stat ties herself to Willow in this match, and basically like we're just gonna beat the hell out of each other in this fucking, like, I guess in a similar way of a strap match. Just she basically turned the match into a strap match. No pun intended. That sounds fucking crazy.
She did used to be
Willow,
an alien, so she's used to probing.
This is Jesus Christ. Stat gets to win this match by using the steel chains in Willow's mouth, forcing like a submission, or Willow just passes out. Just a very brutal way to, like, put on a match for women, and I loved everything about this. I think this is by far one of my favorite women's matches of the year. Might be the best women's match of the year. I have to go back and check that. And definitely worth the payoff. I remember we had asked, like, will this payoff be worth it? This was supposed to come off. This is the finale to Statlander causing Willow to lose against Mercedes, or post-match when she lost against Mercedes, and it was definitely worth the payoff. Only thing I was mad about is there's no Dr. Bomb in this match. I love a good Dr. Bomb, but other than that, I'm good.
Well, that's where where I disagree was the payoff. I think Willow should have won, especially since she just lost to her. Yeah, I think Willow should have won this feud personally. But it's one of those questions. Well, I guess my biggest question is, where do each one of these women go? Does Kris go after Mercedes, which I think that could be a good match? What does Willow do, because she just lost her CMLL title, I think today, if not last night. I don't know the timeline on that. Yeah. So, but as far as the feud goes, yeah, I think Willow should have won. So that's my only disagreement. But
that is a good question.
It's the best match to me. It's the best match of the show. Those women worked hard as fuck.
It is.
Like you said, them doing it right after the Ospreay, because we saw it All In after Ospreay. I think it was the Mercedes Brit match, and we saw how that turned out. These women actually kept the energy up, and to me, it was the best match of this pay-per-view personally. So.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think they showed out. I think I saw like is one Meltzer, I think, gave it like a fucking 4.34 or some shit like that. It was like not a 5-star, and not that ratings matter, I don't give a fuck. But there was one match where, like, hey, they deserved the 5 match. It was the 5-star. It was this match. Like, they fucking balled out. We have a quick like continental title match between Cassidy, Konosuke, Okada, Mark Briscoe. This was a very entertaining match, but the story that I want to tell about this is what they're setting up, and they're definitely setting up Okada versus Konosuke. Like, that's probably who's going to take the continental title off of him. They're definitely teasing it. I think they go to Japan in January, so maybe not this next pay-per-view, but maybe Tokyo or Wrestle Dream in Tacoma. Like, you'll probably see. Oh, that is the next pay-per-view. You probably see Okada versus Konosuke, and we're just gonna get the launch that Konosuke needs. Like, this guy is good. We all know about it. We praise him. He's a fucking favorite of both of us. Like, he's it.
Yeah.
What I think, or actually no. Yeah, that's pretty much it. It's Konosuke in fucking Tokyo now.
Okada wins, retains.
Yeah, Okada. My bad. Okada. He wins, and that's the thing, is that I'm not looking at the continental matches like, oh, Orange Cassidy had a true shot at getting Mark Briscoe had it. No, like, they're both part of the same team. Like, that's not gonna work. Like, Okada was the smart choice and the only choice to win this. Like, because you want to do Konosuke versus Okada 1v1. You don't want him to get the belt in a fatal 4-way. We get Mercedes versus Shida after this, and I thought the match was fine. Apparently, to like online criticism, it was not fine. They did not enjoy this match.
It was a disappointment.
I don't know. I don't have anything negatives. What do you think? What is your feelings, and why do you think it was a disappointment?
To me, it's a disappointment because, one, I like Shida, and I was one of those people that were like, because this match happened a couple weeks ago, or like last month or whatever, And I was one of the people that were like, man, if they got some more time, I think this match could cook. Because as much as I have some disdain for some of Mercedes stuff, her in-ring is top notch to me.
It's good. Yeah.
But after these last two pay-per-views, because last time we talked, I was like, oh man, I feel bad for Mercedes for having to carry Britt so much. But it's one of those things where it's wrestling. It takes two to tango. And I'm not saying Mercedes fell off. I feel like that'd be egregious to say. But I don't know, man. Her shit's not hitting. It's not hitting here. So like her best match so far since being in AEW was with Stephanie back here. Maybe the second is probably the Willow match. Other than that, it's to me they've been all duds. We get.
I don't think the Willow match was bad either. I just think the finish.
That's what I'm saying. I'm just saying those were, that and Valkyria are her best matches, and Valkyria is a way better match. And then we saw what happened with that. It was such a good match. She went to the other company.
Probably, yeah.
but it's like the in-ring promos aren't hitting. This Camille shit is a little confusing because this is her second match winning without Camille. So it's like, what's the point of having, like, what's the point of having your Almas or your Diesel, like your heater? Like Camille is supposed to be the big bodyguard, she's supposed to be your heater, and you're winning matches without her.
Mm-hmm.
Like she's barely even when she is not banned, she's barely even cheats. Like when she did beat Sheeta a couple weeks ago, like Camille did like one small thing and got hit in the face, and then eventually Mercedes won after like 2 minutes after that. So it's not like the typical. Like,
do you think there should be more?
It's like
there should be more from the heel, from like the bodyguard.
Yeah, because she's supposed to be the Kevin Nash to Mercedes and Shawn Michaels. Like she's supposed to be the heel, like when Batista first appeared, or like she's supposed to be the big bad. She's the brick house. So like she's not being used effectively. Like
you're right.
Camille is supposed to be Mercedes' Jacob Fatu.
Yeah,
they're not using her like Fatu. Is my like?
It's true.
It's I'm confused. That is I'm just confused by it. And then the whole spot when
I would like the next Mercedes match to be a tag match.
Yeah, like we need to see Camille more in the ring, and then also like the whole spot when Cheetah was like, she grabbed the kendo stick and she was like super like conflicted with using it. It's like, bitch, if you use it, you're gonna get disqualified.
Why?
like so why even do, like, why are we? Where was the story? Like, so the story that they were trying to tell was that she was frustrated by not getting the win already, that she was willing to just kill this woman. But by doing that, she wouldn't get the title, so she was like conflicted. And I feel like there could have been a better way to deliver it. And what would have helped?
I don't like the hesitation angle.
Was out there. Yeah, especially if you're.
Yeah,
the hesitation angle doesn't make like it to me. It make like what Kevin Owens and Cody did, that makes sense. But the hesitation angles don't make sense when it's like, oh, I really want to hit this person with this object, but if I do, I'll lose the match. So should I do it? Or no, I won't do it doesn't make any sense. I don't like hesitation angles either. The best ones
it's an easy cop out.
Yeah.
It's an easy cop out for like, stars who are really strong, and like you don't want them to look like they just cleanly lost. You want them to give like some kind of like, oh, they lost because they were distracted. It's like, ugh. Yeah, I get it though. Like you're still trying to, keep Sheeta's like stock up. You also want Mercedes to continue to remain champion because she has brought a lot of fucking eyes to AEW and this division, or the TBS title division. I can see
she
it.
should have lost.
My only disappointment was that no. My only disappointment was the hesitation angle. I enjoyed it. It wasn't like a 5-star, nothing crazy to me, but I thought it was a pretty decent match. Next up on this list,
I just don't think they had the chemistry like that, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. Because like, there's certain crazy people, there's certain people on paper that sound super good. Like I think it was the AJ Nakamura match that was supposed to happen, or that happened at Mania. Like on paper, like everyone's super excited. It's like, oh, if you just saw the New Japan match, you remember. And then when we saw the match, it was like that was it. Like that was a really lackluster match. You know, like there's certain wrestlers who don't have chemistry with each other, and it is what it is. Like, I mean, yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. From Britt to Shida, because even in between that, she did the New Japan show, and I saw like somebody had posted the match on like Twitter, and I was like, oh, this is good. Like I thought, like okay, maybe it was just like a Britt thing because the New Japan match she had was, or I think it was Capital Collision, was fucking solid. And then you go into Shida, and I was like, oof, it's all right. Like, I don't know. Maybe it is a chemistry thing. Maybe the next one has to be a slow build. Maybe she has to, wrestle this person that she's going to wrestle for the title a couple times. I don't know what the deal is.
In hindsight,
it could just be a chemistry thing.
Yeah, in hindsight, my last statement, in hindsight, they should have had this match before the other women's match. Because, like, I understand this match was I understand it was for a title, but the other match, the story elements were better, or it's been like it's something that was been building for months. So similar to what WWE did with when they had the Kevin Owens and Sammy versus the Usos over Charlotte and Rhea, like just the story purposes is what made it the main event. Like just the whole story element, and I feel like they should have did something similar to where they should have put this Mercedes Shida match. Honestly, like maybe before the MJF match, because there's such a long break where it's like
they should open. You could open this. Yeah, you could open.
Or even opened it. But yeah, I know. Yeah, it's just one of those moments where it's like, I don't know. It could have been early in the a little earlier in the show. But anyway, next match is the Daniel Bryanson versus Jack Perry. Jungle Jack Perry.
It seems like mad heat in Chicago too, because they was rightfully so. But it seems like they're giving Daniel final countdown at pay-per-views only. And I'm cool with that. I think that's a great little like touch to like his title reign, is that final countdown only plays at pay-per-views. Initially off rip, Bryan showing Jack this is not like, it's not going to be a walk in the park, and this match definitely wasn't a walk in the park. There was fucking super back suplexes, TK drivers, which I haven't seen the TK driver since TK got hit with it. We get some interference from the Bucks. They come out because they're trying to get the AEW Championship back inside the Elite, so they come out to help, which then spawns Claudio and Yuta to come out and chase the Bucks off, because of their match earlier in the night. What I think is that like a lot of people were upset with the idea of Jack facing Daniel, but this just seems to me like he's going through this list of who he wants to face on his way out. Who's the bigger, like not bigger stories, but just let me just clean this up, give my little nods to these individuals, and then I'm out of here. Or at least that seemed like the case until like the end of the match.
If that is the case, you know what I have to say to that? You tell him no. I'm sorry, Brian. You are on a you're on a time limit health wise, and I'm not gonna waste your talents on this fucking Neutrogena haired ass little child who can't cut a goddamn promo. They only did it because it was in Chicago, because they're still trying to get heat off of CM Punk, who it's been in 2 months. It will be a year since like he got re-signed to WWE. So it's like you're still doing this shit off of the whole. You're doing this shit off of him being beat up. Like he's getting cheered for being beat up. Like I cannot let that go. He got choked out in front of his boss, and niggas are cheering him now.
That's not what it is.
That ain't what it is, bro.
That's not what it is.
He got sequestered in Japan. Tony Khan was so upset with him. He sent him to Japan for months. And the first time we see him
on ice,
like months, and he's like, "Oh, I'm a scapegoat." And then he kicked Tony in the balls, and now people are kind of cheering for him, but motherfuckers still don't like him, which is why people were reasonably upset.
He was doing his shit. He didn't die over there. He definitely didn't die over there. He was doing his shit, sold his own shirts. He actually did a promo based off of that. Like when I was out, I was doing my own shit, and he was. But Jack has garnered some heat from the shit that he has been doing since he came back. But yes, you are right that the original basis of this stems from the fight from him and CM Punk. And they're definitely leaning into the fight of him and CM Punk with the Chicago.
Well, that's why
crowd.
It was booked in Chicago. And, like, other than that, like,
exactly. That's the only reason.
A random damn Dynamite. This fucking goddamn racist motherfucker with this motorcycle, bro. Can you hear it? Let me close my window.
It's not as loud as it was before. Normally, that motherfucker sound like a fucking shotgun going off. But let's get to the important pieces of this. Match wraps up with.
I'm sorry. I don't understand this match. If this was Brian's wish, I'm saying no. I'm saying no. I'm sorry. But
I don't. The thing is, I can't predict AEW, so I don't know how this is going to tie into something later down the line, because they've been doing that where they throw you shit and you're like, why the fuck is this happening? And they're like, oh shit, 4 months later. Oh, that makes a lot of sense. But they don't do it in the form of like promos on TV. They do it to where you have to watch little details. You got to really pay attention.
Look at that. It's not
match
true.
ends where
even if
it is.
I mean, it's semi true. Like with like. I'm not trying to do. I'm literally not trying to do a one-for-one comparison. But with WWE, like there's Easter eggs to where you have to pay attention. Like the side looks the side looks. Jesus Christ, the side looks like that Io Sky was giving Bailey, and like before that that change, or the whole shit with Finn Balor and the key card and all that. Like there's Easter eggs or shit you got to pay attention to. But with AEW, sometimes it is what it is. Like. Sometimes they can show up to work and it's like you fighting Beast Mordos today, and then after that match you're gonna get a beat down because you got to challenge Swerve in 2 weeks, even though you won the number one contendership 3 months ago. That's what it is, and I'm
okay. Let me reiterate that.
Not about it. It's just again,
I think they've been doing it better recently. I think that like. The tie-in that they've been doing with like Darby and Mox right now, spoiler alert, to where we've talked about like, oh, Darby's supposed to be one of the next AEW champions, like he's currently beefing with somebody who wants to take that opportunity from him. Like we're kind of seeing them throw that at you, to where if that is the case, if that is where they're going with Darby beating Daniel, they're throwing that thread out now. Like we're getting that thread right now, even in the aspect of like Swerve versus Hangman. They've been telling this shit for a year. Like this has been happening since Tacoma, or since Wrestle Dream last year, where they fought last year. We're just now getting their fourth match this year, and it's like, okay, these motherfuckers really don't like each other.
The Swerve and Hangman is a good example. The Tony Storm and Mariah May is a good example. All the great examples to me are not good examples, and we'll get into it because honestly, the whole stuff with what happened this Wednesday is extremely confusing.
We can do that.
But we got one more
let's burn through this real quick. Christian Cage comes out post-match after Daniel wins, and he looks like he's cashing in his opportunity. As soon as he approaches the ring to cash in, we then see BCC step up. We see Mox, we see Yuta, we see Pac, and we see Claudio. They all stop Christian Cage from cashing in. He sees that, he backs off, he walks away. This is interesting to me because when Daniel won his belt against Swerve, BCC was there except for Mox. And I was like, that's kind of interesting. Like, Yuta and fucking Claudio come out and celebrate, but Mox isn't here. I was like, why the fuck is Mox not here? And typically you're like, well, maybe he wasn't booked or whatever, but that's just story elements. They're showing you that Mox doesn't align with what Daniel's doing. The same way that we saw just going back to when Daniel was fighting the Elite, as in Team AEW, and he goes off with his promo about AEW and how like he's gonna beat the Elite in the fucking Blood and Guts or whatever, and Claudio walks off. There's a promo where Claudio's like, this man over here talking about this Elite and AEW shit, I'm just gonna walk off. Fast forward to All Out, and they get in the ring, they hug him, whatnot, and then we just see Mox give the nod to Claudio. Claudio uppercuts Brian. BCC turns on fucking Brian, and then Mox pulls out his plastic bag and tries to suffocate this man on live TV.
I have a question before we get to the uppercut part. How did you feel about the uppercut sell? because I saw two different opinions about the uppercut sell.
Part of it was cut off, so you didn't really see it as much. When I watched it through like a fan perspective, I had nothing wrong with it. Why?
Well, because the European uppercut, it's not like a move that like knocks people out, right? So it's like, when he hit Brian with it, and Brian like fell down, and he was just looking. A part of it does make sense because it was like, whoa, did you just hit me with that?
What the fuck?
But there's you could argue that it also doesn't make sense by the way that he was looking, to where there was part of it that looked almost maybe too confused, or I don't know. I saw two different arguments in it, so that's why I was just curious on how you felt about the.
No, I thought the sell was great.
And then, like him falling down and just like kind of looking because he sat down. It didn't look like he was in pain. It was more like a wait. Why did you just hit me, bro? But
I think that was the case. I think like it's like, what the fuck? Did you just like hit me? The pain didn't register. It's like I just got hit by my best friend. Like we were boys. What the fuck is going on? And then you get fucking choked out of a plastic bag.
Right.
And at this point, like I said, Mox has been going around talking about like, or picking up him and Marina Shafir, and they're just fucking going around knocking motherfuckers out left and right. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? And
next question real quick. All right, I gotta cut you off. I'm sorry, because we haven't been able to talk about it. How are you feeling about this new Mox shit? Because there's a lot of coded language in here, especially in this promo this week. A lot of coded language. According to Brian Alvarez, he's basing this character off of a movie based on it was a WrestlePro movie based off a neo-Nazi. It's a neo-Nazi movie.
The fuck?
Have you not seen any of this? Am I telling you new news?
Absolutely.
Oh my god. Okay, so apparently this whole character, like when he first showed up at that Dynamite, and he was like talking to Schiavone, he's like, "This is not your company anymore." It was almost a bar for bar line from this movie. I cannot remember what it's called, but it's a neo-Nazi movie. He's basing his character off of a neo-Nazi. And I'm asking, so you don't know anything about it. So now my question doesn't even fucking matter, but it does matter. I'm gonna have to send you the clip. But
yeah,
okay, all right, we'll continue because it does lead on to further shit.
That's just fucking crazy. And I know motherfuckers get inspiration from anything, but like, god damn, like shit. And anywho, my thoughts about this is that the reason why I think they turn is that BCC is supposed to be like a forever thing. The whole original thing was him, Regal, Brian, and it's like blood in, blood out. Like there's no retirement here. There's no fucking like you should get to ride off in the wind. Like no, we're supposed to be here and make this be a forever thing. Why are you spending your time, helping out Team AEW when we're supposed to be who we are, which is Blackpool Combat Club? We're just here to fight and fuck shit up. But you've been getting distracted. You've been focusing on other things, without the group and whatnot. And that's how I think that, well, that's where I originally thought was where they were going, is that, Brian, you're not BCC anymore. You're losing out. Like, you ain't won no belts with nobody. The first time you get your title shot, like, you do it without the help of the BCC, like, and not even the help, because they definitely did matches before. But it just, there was no Blackpool Combat Club aura with this Brian run. And I think Mox is like, I have to be the one to take you out. We're the ones who started it. If you want to retire, you got to go through me, and we're going to just like fight this bitch out, and then you can go, kind of thing. But then also, like, some part of this has Darby involved, and we find out, through Dynamite this week, is that he wants a shot. He wants to take Darby's title shot away, which was supposed to be at Grand Slam, not happen at Grand Slam because Darby's put his title shot on the line versus Mox. And like I said before, I think this sets up, Darby's run to get to the AEW Championship, because Mox let out a promo this week where he doesn't feel like Darby's ready. He's like, you've been here, you're a nice kid, but give that to somebody who's going to do something with it. But before you get into that,
none of that still makes sense, but I will wait till we get to that actual segment.
Last match of the night, Swerve versus Hangman in the cage match.
Unsanctioned.
Unsanctioned. And that was funny too, because like I saw people like freak the fuck out over this match, like to the point to where like there's petitions and shit, which is very fucking funny.
Okay,
but there was definitely petitions of like we need to get AEW off TV because of like this match. But I was like, they told you it was unsanctioned. Lights out unsanctioned means whatever happens is going to fucking happen here. Like,
oh, so this is
and both talent.
This is a post-match petition, is what you're saying. Like the petition was after they saw the result.
After they met. There's a lot of people hate watching. I realize that. There's a lot of people who weren't fans of AEW definitely saw this shit and was definitely hate watching, which is funny.
Hate watching anything is weird to me.
It's fucking crazy, bro. I'm not going. If I hate something, I'm not watching it, bro. No. You can't pay me to watch the Titanic. I can't do it.
You hate
dislike that movie. That and Avatar. Do not ever play that blue movie around me.
Fuck Avatar. I'm 100%. It's literally just it's Pocahontas and Ferngully with blue people
and white people with dreads and blue face. I don't like it. I hate this movie, bro. Oh my god, I hate that movie.
Colonizing, culture appropriation. It's like, oh, I can't walk. Let me be a blue guy. Oh, I love this culture so much, bitch.
I just want to stay here forever. Selling it to you in 4K. Like, look at the visuals. Man. Isn't it beautiful? Beautiful colonization, motherfucker. Like, goddamn. Like, no.
I'm so glad I didn't know that.
I don't like like movie.
We're gonna have to talk about this off air. Just the hate. I need a vent. Just the hate.
I don't like it. Fucking with Jake Sully. No, fuck out of here. Yeah, people were hate watching this match. And I loved it. This is for the sickos in every way fucking possible. The fucking cinder block spot where he does the fucking like a tiger driver through the cinder block was fucking brutal. The swerve stomp through the table was fucking crazy. These men are bloodied up within the 15 minutes. There's barbed wire on the fucking cage. It was Cactus Jack ECW levels of fucking hardcore, bro.
It was pretty much a death match.
1,000% a death match.
They should have just advertised it as that. It probably
as a death match.
Yeah. No, with the squeamish. If you were already squeamish, you probably wouldn't have watched it if you would have knew it was death match.
Hangman pulls out a piece of burnt wood from this man's house and tries to stab him with it. And I'm like, oh, y'all are you just a devious motherfucker. Like, you just want to kill the man with the house that he burnt down, like vampire style. Brutal as fuck. We then get a power bomb on the cinder block from Hangman. So they both took cinder block spots, which is fucking disgusting.
Ridiculous.
House call in the steel cage, on the house call to the Hangman's face in between the steel cage. I love this. Like I said, I have nothing against it. I loved it, except to when we get to this spot here, which is the goddamn syringe.
Yeah.
That part, there's a line, right? And I will gladly say you definitely stepped over the line with the syringe a little bit. That shit was fucking crazy.
Oh, you don't
I know that, like,
you're not a real wrestling fan, bro. You're not a real sicko. You don't like it. You don't like the syringe.
It was. I ain't never seen a match where I was like, you know, I wouldn't let my kid watch this, or I'll have an age restriction on when you can watch this match. This is definitely one of those matches where you got to be like 11, 12, maybe, like a little bit to where you can still believe in the horror value, but also like not young enough to where you're gonna be fucking scared as shit. Like, this is one I got to hold off on. Everything else that we've watched in AEW, I'm like, yeah, you can watch this shit. This is perfectly fucking fine. But that syringe spot was fucking nuts. And then it ends with the fucking chair shot. And I love the way they shot the chair shot when they... I'll double back. Hold on. You see him pick up the chair. He goes to hit the chair shot. The whole fucking screen or the camera pans out to you. You never see the chair hit his head, right? There's a fan clip of it where they catch the chair shot in the ring when it happens, and this chair is loose as fuck. That does not make it right to where we're doing headshots, because there's been plenty of warnings from people who tell you don't do fucking unprotected headshots. It's not worth the risk. We saw Corey Graves talk about it. At the end of the day, these motherfuckers is doing what they want to do. Like, you can warn a motherfucker all about CTE if you want, but they're not going to wear the Guardian cap. That's just the reality of the fucking situation. Would I take that shit? Fuck no. But he gets a chair shot, match ends in TKO, ref calls a match, and Hangman walks off. The sick part is that he walks off and he's sitting there contemplating, like, you know, fuck, did I just do this? Like, am I human. There's like remorse in his eyes. And one of the dopest parts about this is that for a moment when he decides to kind of walk back forward towards the match, you hear somebody in the crowd scream so like bloody murder, like because it was just so brutal. And like the fans was like, please no fucking more, bro. Like, don't do this. Overall, it's not done between them. You can't stick a needle in this man's mouth, hit him with a chair shot, and burn his house and think this shit's done. They're gonna do this at some point, and we're gonna ask the question again: how far can you go? We asked it last time when he was fucking drinking blood and hanged this man with a chain. Now we're asking how far can you go when you didn't fucking stuck this man with a needle? What the fuck is next?
Yeah, and okay, well, all right. Spoiler alert, didn't like the syringe spot. Definitely didn't like the chair spot. The chair spot, I mean, we talked about a headshot to the chair before. I don't like when a Hall of Famer such as Ricky Morton of the Midnight Express is like, stop doing it. He's in, I think he's like 76. He's still wrestling. And he's like, yeah, you know, like chair shots took away time in my career, yada, yada. And people are correcting him. And that happened twice in that week. And it gave me a headache because it also happened on the football side. I don't know if you saw the clip of Ed Reed talking like, oh, I see weaknesses in Mahomes' game. And people are going to Ed Reed and be like, you're wrong. It's like, nigga, that's Ed Reed.
Ed Reed.
He had Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, Drew Brees, like Peyton Manning. He had football gods fearing him. That's Ed Reed.
Yeah.
Take his advice. And it's similar to Ricky Morton. It's similar to Corey Graves. Like, we just this Thursday, I don't know if you guys watched it, but
with Tua, yeah.
Tua, he got another concussion. And this time he just ran into a nigga's ribs. That's all it was. Like, Hamlin wasn't even really trying to tackle him. He just ran headfirst into someone else's stomach and he got a concussion.
And that's that's my point with bringing up.
Yeah. Like, so what's a chair shot?
The Guardian caps. Like, it's like I said, like in the NFL, they're bringing out these CTE helmets that they want people to wear to protect themselves. But it's up to the athletes if they want to wear it. When you got people like, you know, saying, hey, it is important that you protect your head.
Right. But the Guardian caps are during practice, and he chose.
And they're supposed to be during games, too. Some people wear them in games, too.
Oh, well, that's just weird.
It's just like.
But also with Tua, he didn't slide. He's just not that good.
No, he definitely should have slid.
He doesn't make slid. But the whole point of me bringing that up is the fact that, like, when it comes to your head, as a human being, it is a very fragile spot. Like, a punch to the temple in a certain way could kill somebody. You don't even have to be a trained boxer to do that. You could accidentally kill somebody just in a fight. If you like have a bar fight, you can just if you hit someone in a certain way, you can maybe accidentally kill them. So it's like, I don't care if their chair is shaved. I don't care if it's gimmicked to make it flip a certain way, which that chair was gimmicked. It definitely was, but it's still an unprotected chair shot. Just don't fucking do it, especially when you already have your most edgelord shock factor spot, which was the syringe, which to me was just like, what? I had two problems with it. One, what the fuck was it for besides shock value? And two, what the fuck was it for? You didn't tell us what was in it. Like, did he dope him up? Did he hit him with a tranquilizer? Like, what was in the fucking syringe?
Yeah, because I saw like the historical context. We all know, like, you know, just the syringes in black people and shit like that. Like, it looks fucking crazy. That's why I didn't like it, because it's like it felt like, I don't know, just traumatic history tied to that. And there was no reason. There was like, oh, what he filled it with fucking his own blood or whatever. Like, it was just a syringe in this man's mouth. It was like, we're just gonna do it just to like make people squeamish, and they did. They fucking did.
Right, and it did, and rightfully so. And it's like one of those things where, like, I honestly, like, I did see some of those takes. I didn't even think of it that deep. Like, I didn't think about it in the racial context, or like, oh, like there's a drug epidemic right now. Like, I didn't think about it even that deep. To me, it was like, what is the sense that it makes? I dislike a lot of people. And if I'm having a blood feud and I hate a motherfucker, I'm not going to stick a syringe.
You might stick a nigga. You might.
I'd rather.
You might give him
in their mouth. Like, it's to me, it's cartoonish violence, and like not in.
I was just going to say that
it's like, very cartoonish violence, which that's not necessarily bad in wrestling, because you could argue that that's in all wrestling. There's moments where there's cartoonish violence, but usually it makes sense. This to me doesn't make sense. He just stuck a needle in his mouth. That was it.
And yeah, that shit was fucking crazy. It is very cartoonish violence, because my thought was like, this is like Joker taking fear toxin and just sticking it to a civilian. But at least like the story behind that is that Joker just wants to turn this motherfucker into like Scarecrow. There's a story element of why he's sticking somebody with this fucking syringe. With Swerve and Hangman, it was just like,
I just hate you, so I'm sticking with the syringe. But it's like,
I'm gonna stick you with a syringe.
Then stick him in an eye. Then, if it's really that deep, what, like, you're gonna stick him in, like,
yeah, he could have like took a needle and like stuck in his neck or some shit like that. But like, I don't know.
That would have
the
been
mouth
worse,
was fucking
but it's
crazy.
like and obviously it's wrestling, so you got to disband your disbelief to a certain extent, but also like you're trying to portray a certain sense of reality. So it's like, I've seen a lot of crazy fights, man, but it's like I'd never see, like, even in the most heated fights, like if you just watch fucking World Star or something, you're not seeing someone randomly like, oh, I'm gonna put my credit card and swipe it on his mouth or something. Like, you don't like, it's like, I don't know, it's just, it was violence for the sake of violence, which in wrestling and being the alternative, it's okay to a certain extent, but you need to make it make sense. Like, as ridiculous as the flamethrower was, it made sense for that moment. Like, you put gasoline on him, I set this nigga on fire. Like, it makes sense. Like, you're smashing this motherfucker on a cinder block, you're hitting each other with chains, stapling each other, all this other stuff, and it's like, let me pull out a hypodermic needle real quick. Like, nigga, what? like, what?
No, but and when you say it like that, I'm like, you must really hate a nigga to stick a nigga with a needle. Like, that's hate, it's bro. Like, so I get it on both sides. Like, what you?
How were you?
How'd you get
where
this
were
shit?
you brainstorming at? Like, were you just sitting on the beach looking at the sunset, and like, I'm hurt?
Nigga, he was in Tacoma. He done got it from you and put that shit on the plane and came back and just
gave that
nigga some shit.
He wasn't Washington. he got the idea looking at the regular corner street because he's in Washington.
He was out there like, I'm gonna fuck him up. Yo, give me that. And he drove. That nigga drove from Seattle to Chicago. Just to stick that nigga with that needle. That's some hate, bro.
My own thing is, like, if you're going to do it, at least make it make sense. Like.
Yeah,
it could have been like,
sure.
Like, is there a numbing agent in there? Is there a tranquilizer? Like, why are you sticking a needle in his mouth besides being freaky? To me, it's some freak shit. Like, it's demented and it's freaky. Like, why are you doing it? I don't.
Yeah, and I don't know. And like, just post match wise, I don't know. Like, what's the story element behind that? To where like, okay, stuck him in the mouth, does Swerve come back and like the nigga's lip is like hanging, is the side of his face all like infected or whatever? Like, how do you like portray that to the audience? And we will have to find out because we haven't seen Swerve. Swerve was not on this episode of Dynamite.
And apparently he's taking time off too. Like, him and MJF are taking time off. Apparently,
which is fair. I'm okay with that.
I mean, MJF, I don't know. He just came back, but I don't know. Anyway,
MJF is also a star.
Yeah,
I get it. We're gonna quickly run through Dynamite real quick. Mox has a promo. Basically in this promo, he's saying that like him and Brian, he's about to do. Brian doesn't have the stomach for this. He said they built something real 2 years ago. And it was an idea that, like, what do you say? I wrote it down. We built this 2 years ago, and they made a commitment to build something real, something tangible that will last years and years long after they were gone, and the idea that they couldn't be destroyed or subjugated. So, like, basically saying, like, hey, we built something. We're gonna sit there and, like, finish this out. He looks around, he sees the egos is out of control everywhere, and he can't take it anymore. Blood alone moves the wheels of history. Mm-hmm. I didn't really get all this
because
it's just like I don't
because you didn't know about the goddamn coded language.
I have no idea.
I sent you two things.
No idea.
I sent you the movie's called Romper Stomper. It's a Russell Crowe vehicle, but if you guys haven't heard it, and I urge you to maybe listen to it again. Like, one of the lines was diplomacy failed. It's time for a shit. Like, everything he said was shit that we heard during Jan 6. And that's where it's like, and I gave WWE shit with American Made. It's like, are you guys reading the room? And to me, Moxley's promos is not reading the room with what's going on currently.
If they are leaning that way, I don't know any backstory, but if they are leaning that way, you're definitely not reading the room correctly.
Just watch the two shit. Well, eventually, look at the two shits I sent you, and maybe just re-listen. But it's like, so yeah, like I understand the concept when they created BCC or Blackpool Combat Club. When they created the group, they were trying to take shit over. It was going to be, heavy hitting. They fucking people up, and some things changed, and Brian changed. But yeah, he's like, diplomacy failed and all this other shit.
He did have there was a cool quote in here, and it was tied to Regal. He said Regal calls Brian the perfect wrestler. He was always, his favorite, or he calls him Lordship's favorite. But Regal saw more of himself in Moxley and said men like them are what they are and can't pretend otherwise. So basically saying this entire time that Brian's going to be the favorite. You're going to be the anti of that. And you just got to fall into that. And maybe at the time when Blackpool was created, Moxley was just trying to hey, it's just us. We're going to figure this out. I don't want to be the bad guy. To where now you are forced to be his anti-hero, or not anti-hero, but his antagonist. We get more of that,
which is weird. I mean, well, no, that part's not weird. It's the weird part is that they were, as a group, they were heels. But I do understand. I understand the gist of what Moxley is trying to promote during this promo. I do.
Yeah, I understand the ideas behind it. I didn't know that what it was coded behind and where he got inspiration from. But if the overall story is going to be, you were the favorite, I wasn't, we were always destined to fight. This is in every fucking hero movie or anime or cartoon. We've seen this story plenty of times.
Yeah.
And I do think that if his retiring match is against Mox, that will be a fucking great match too. Although I don't think it's going to go that way. We get that throughout the show. Pac ends up doing the same thing. Pac has a promo later on the night where diplomacy has failed and the company's there. Basically, they're trying to hijack the company. The company's broken, and what happened at Saturday at All Out was inevitable. They're inevitable, and they're just a product of this environment. I don't know what the fuck this environment has done to them yet. We'll probably get that later. But as far as right now, they're just out to get everybody. We get a Callis promo or Ospreay Callis promo where they decide to go into the tag team gauntlets.
Well, they don't decide.
Ospreay doesn't want to do it.
Yeah. Well, no, I'm sorry. Never mind. Continue. Ospreay. Ospreay doesn't want to do it, but Callis is like, I'm not really asking you. And he's like, I'm gonna call it cash in his favor. You have a undefeated track record when it comes to gauntlet matches, so help with this gauntlet match. And Kyle's like, come on, bro, I need a win, bro. Come on, Mike. And he does it for Kyle. Yeah. And so when this promo shot, I was like, okay, they're gonna win this fucking gauntlet match. Just because Ospreay is a star, he's gonna draw attraction to it. Kyle Fletcher's already been a tag team with Ospreay. They did. I forgot what their name of their fucking team was. Aussie Open. It was three of them. I think it was Aussie Open. So that also made sense. Plus, Kyle's been trying to figure out a way to get out. So hopefully it ties into his story where he can get out. I don't know. Get out of what? Out of the Callis family. That man's he's trying to leave. I guess he can't because fucking Trent's gone too. Jack versus Leo was a good match. I really enjoyed Leo back in AEW. He's doing really fucking well. He has a very unique style that I think is just suited to him. So I love Leo Rush. We then get a Hangman promo. Hangman says if he had found 1,000 houses that Swerve owned, he would have burned 1,000 houses down. He meant every word that he said and every drop of blood that he stole from him. Mm-hmm. Facts. Honestly, look. Syringe spot aside, honestly, that spot is gross. I hated it, but I think Hangman didn't do enough. And that's not even me having my bias because whose house, burnt house, nigga. Let's go. Honestly, I did like the merch for Hangman. It was like whose house, but it was a house on fire. Yeah. That was fucking dope. Yeah, no, honestly, Hangman he should have did more, just less gross shit. Fuck the syringe spot. He should have pulled out a blicky, but that's just me. Touch my baby.
Nah, yeah, but people forget like the details, bro. He touched his kid, broke into his house, was stalking him and his pregnant wife, let the world know about his second kid. Like, there's some lines that were being crossed here, and people weren't really paying attention to a lot of that shit.
Hangman is not the heel in this situation. Similar to how I feel about Finn. Like, to me, he ain't the heel. Like, nah, like y'all.
How I felt about Drew.
Y'all was
the same thing.
Y'all was acting different on me. Like, nah, bro. Like,
yeah. This leads into Hangman beefing with Jeff Jarrett. This is a callback to them and the Owen Hart Classic match that they had.
It's been like
so Jeff Jarrett.
Honestly, since Hangman
a couple months
came back, it's kind of been on and off.
He's basically getting at him for touching his wife at All Out or All In during like the battle royale that they had. So you're gonna see Jeff Jarrett versus Hangman at some point.
It was
we
All
didn't
Out.
Get the Ricochet. It was All Out.
All Out was the Wembley one, right?
Yeah.
Which one? What the Wembley show?
Yeah. Yeah, the Wembley show. We should go by that. The one that was in Wembley.
They should not have these shows back to back. Like, one should be in the fall, and the other one should be like in the spring or something. I don't know.
I guess.
I don't know.
We Ricochet versus Sami. My first note was really hesitant with this match initially for obvious reason with Sami. And also, I don't know how far Ricochet will go. Both these people don't know limits, and I was really like afraid of like what the fuck was going to happen here. And then my next note was like, but I was dead wrong. They smoked this match. This was like a really good match, man. Like, as much as I am very hesitant on Sami and his previous actions in ring, this was good. He didn't do too bad in this one.
Man's got a weird face. Why is he around? That's how I feel.
Jesus Christ. That's a crazy ball, basically what you were looking for here is corkscrew dives, somersaults, everything that was flippy motion. You got it. This is a great fucking match. It's very entertaining.
Yeah. Even the crowd was saying they were chanting something about flips. We want flips or more flip or something. They had a
something
flip
like that.
A flip chant, which is wild.
Post match, Ricochet wins, but Mortos comes out and spears Ricochet. So we're probably gonna get a Mortos versus Ricochet at some point. I would assume it's probably gonna be a collision somewhere. Sami helps Ricochet and runs Mortos off, and Sami raises his hand. We then get Darby calls out Mox. He meets him in the ring. Mox says what I said earlier is that he just wants a shot at his title shot.
Okay, wait. Okay,
so
hold on. Okay. So Mox, during this whole thing, when Mox does say what you said, he says Brian is incapacitated. He's not going to be able to go to Grand Slam. He says he is not going to be able to make it to Grand Slam. So you should give me your title match. Yada, yada, yada. I'm going to pause there. I'm going to bring something. I'm going to re-bring this up later. Because I'm telling you.
Oh, I know where this is going.
It does not make sense.
I know where it's going. But once again, I think this is one of those. Fuck, we'll talk about it here. We get the number one title shot between Mox and Darby set up for Grand Slam.
Yes. So
early in the show, we get Nigel.
Willingly, was it earlier? Was the Nigel thing before that?
Nigel says earlier that he's like going to go talk to somebody about setting something up.
Okay.
Right. Nigel then comes out later on during the match or during the show and announces that, in a great fucking promo, by the way, fucking phenomenal. Yeah, in this promo, he announces that he is challenging Daniel 1v1 at Grand Slam if Daniel accepts. That was the thing. Like, Daniel has to come out and be in physical shape to accept this match. It wasn't confirmed yet, but they did throw the graphic up seemingly to kind of direct you that this match will happen.
And then it was later confirmed in the same show
that he was going to do Nigel versus Daniel.
Tony Khan confirmed.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. So where are you going from here?
Okay. Well,
what's your issue with that?
My issue is that none of it makes any sense. Okay. So somehow Moxley knows that Moxley knows that Brian's not going to be here. Somehow Nigel knows that Brian will be there. And then for whatever reason, Darby is willingly offering his title shot that he won late July, by the way. He's putting it up to fight Moxley. So right now, and then on top of all that, so skip past the Brian or skip past the Moxley Darby part. Then we go back to the Nigel part, where Nigel has a contract. He's saying, "I'm challenging if he's up to it, quote unquote." Just for 10 minutes later for it to be confirmed. Okay, so if you're in the shoes of if you're Bryan Danielson, Bryan Danielson, you're not on the show this week because the week prior or a couple days before you had a plastic bag choke. Like I'm Moxley. I just choked you out with a plastic bag. Why the fuck would you ever accept a match against this commentator who you do have history with? And I'm not trying to use commentator in a derogatory sense, but he's a commentator that you haven't fought since 2006. You're going to accept a match to fight him at Grand Slam, even though it was supposed to be Darby, who is willingly now giving up his shot because Moxley told him that Bryan is not even going to be there. But now Bryan is going to be there. But for whatever reason, Bryan is going to accept this Nigel match instead of going after Moxley, his best friend, or we'll just use best friend in quotations, who just tried to choke him out in a plastic bag. None of this makes any sense.
I think in the way, like, this is just me going off what you told me, how I brainstormed it, is that I think that you take the match with Nigel to prove a point, to put Nigel on the stage and show Mox that you want to come after me, watch what I do to him kind of thing. But I do understand the aspect that I would just go after the person who fucking choked me out. Like, I wouldn't fuck Nigel. I'm about to fuck you up. You try to kill me. But in the wrestling world of it, you think that I'm not brutal enough. You think that I'm not who I was before. I'm going to show you who I actually am. I think the thing is, I think maybe Mox wants to push Bryan to the levels of what Regal saw in Mox, but that's also can be inside of Daniel. But
then why wouldn't you do that against your other former teammates that betrayed you, such as Claudio?
That too.
Or, I mean, even just go after
maybe because the numbers the game. Maybe like you were just outnumbered. Maybe like if I go into there, I'm going to get fucking jumped again. I don't fucking know.
So you going to accept a random title challenge from a nigga you haven't fought in almost 10 years. Again, a commentator over your best friend who put a plastic bag over your head to prove a point. Again, like that, like even if we're trying,
because what I do think,
even using wrestling logic, no, you're fine. Even using wrestling logic, it still doesn't make that much sense.
Well, I think that they were playing it out to where like maybe this match does get interference from Mox and Claudio, right? Because we left out a part that the only person who was not cool with it was Yuta. Yuta was the one who's held back by Pac and whatnot.
Who's currently
so maybe
part of the Trios champion with Pac and Claudio.
Maybe the dismemberment of BCC happens with Bryan and Yuta at some point. Maybe it's a 2v3 kind of element. Maybe they attack them one by one. And they start picking people apart. I don't know. But I do know that their story threads are being tied here. Actually, there's probably going to be a triple threat match. Or not triple threat, but a trios match between Darby, Bryan, and Yuta versus Pac, Claudio, and Mox. They're going to do that at some point.
Well, Mox isn't.
I think maybe that's where the setup's going.
Unless he takes Wheeler's belt. Because
I think at some point the title will go because Wheeler can't. He's not going to team up with him.
Okay, well then I mean I'll nitpick. Then why couldn't fucking Bang Bang Gang do that shit when Jay White was injured? Like you can't free
just because of story elements, the dramatic side of it, the trying to storytell the art or the way that they are telling stories here. That like, oh well, Yuta backed out, like lost in the trios title, but why did he lose the trios title? Because Yuta saw them choke out Bryan, like just so you can have more threads tied to like certain situations. I don't know. That's just how I'm brainstorming right now. But I definitely think that they will do a 6-man tag between those three versus those.
And that part's fine, but that part none of this story makes sense though. Like Bryan has like 17 feuds going on right now. And the part that I need to mention before we carry on is that this new BCC or whatever their name is, anyway, Neo Mox, his whole thing right now is that they're going to take over AEW. Is that not what the Elite has been doing since I don't know, April.
They tried. I think they failed at that.
They haven't. I mean, that's subjective because I mean they had Christopher Danielson fired. He got rehired. Whatever. You know, they helped Jericho keep Taz off of the show multiple times. They took over the show multiple times. So it's like they already did it. They're already currently still technically doing an invasion angle. And now you have another new faction that's not fully formed 100%. We don't know their name. They're also doing an invasion angle. But yet Moxley is technically cool with the Elite because last week he hit up Jack. He's like, I don't care what anyone says. You're a cute kid or some shit like that. So
you did.
It doesn't.
And maybe they're working with the Elite. Maybe that was the Elite grabbing Mox and them to help them take over AEW. I don't know. But you are right to where it doesn't make sense to have two people taking over AEW. There's going to be a power struggle, and maybe that's what they want. Maybe the end game is to do Bucks and Jack versus Mox in this new trios.
Okay. Last question
at some point.
Last question, real quick, and then I'll let you carry on. Do you think, because there's rumors like when Neo Mox first debuted with this new shit, and he was like, "This is not your company anymore." Do you think this has anything to do with Shane McMahon?
Oh.
Because there's
loaded question.
There's rumors,
not loaded, but I don't know. But I could see it.
Just because there's theories, or I wouldn't say rumors. I would say there's fan theories that like, oh, this is how they're going to get Shane McMahon. They're doing an invasion angle, which is like, okay, well, they're going to do an invasion on top of an invasion. That's why I asked that question.
It would be entertaining. I'm not opposed to it, but like it also depends on how they do it. But like I said, the thing is, AEW's giving us threads, although they are very convoluted threads. They are threads. They're tied. Their stories tied to people. We just are fucking webbed up in them right now.
It's like the Madam Web movie. I haven't seen my mother since she was in the forest studying spiders.
It's like, what? What does that mean? Yeah, it's
okay. All right,
we got through.
I'm not trying.
To wrap up the show,
questions, by the way. I'm not trying to be facetious.
No, these are all valid
questions. It doesn't make any
questions.
sense to me.
This is the most that I've gotten you to like have ask questions about AEW. It feels great. You actually have opinions about like what the fuck is going on. This is great. This is a win. This is a huge win. The show wraps up with the Casino Gauntlet match for the tag team title shot. We get a lot of dope tags in here. Actually, FTR Ospreay opens up, but we get the Righteous, Taven and Bennett from Undisputed Kingdom. We got the Acclaimed. We get a very interesting Stokely in the crowd. Stokely's in the crowd scouting tag teams, which is interesting. They also dropped a promo of Stokely looking up ROH tapes of tag teams. Stokely's in the market of looking for a new team. He's trying to manage a tag team right now.
My only hope is that means Kris will be on her own.
It's
not to say that I don't like the pairing, but I feel like the pairing is a little distracting because Kris is one of the better workers on the women's roster, and she could use some change especially with this new heel persona. I don't think she needs Stokely necessarily anymore. It's not saying that they still can't be attached, sort of, but do we need another faction? I'm gonna say no. But if it gets more people on TV, whatever, fine, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know. He's currently in the market looking for a tag team because he was in the crowd. Very interesting. We get the MXM collection here, touching tips. They're out there doing their thing. I was glad to see them on Dynamite getting their shots.
Yes.
They're actually beefing with the Acclaimed, which is cool. I like that. I like MXN or MXM versus the Acclaimed. I think that's great. That's a common thing that I was watching throughout this match, that there's threads tied to each of these tag teams. One of the biggest pops from the Outrunners. I saw Outrunners when they came out here in Portland. They're the young guys as their gimmick, and they're based off like 80s style wrestlers.
Their gimmick is literally FTRs, but they don't take themselves as seriously, which is probably why they're the most over tag team right now. Like
they're very over.
They are currently selling more merch than MJF, Will Ospreay, and other big names. The Outsiders are the biggest merch sellers right now in AEW.
I like that, yo. Because like when I saw them when they came in Portland, I was like, they are very interesting. This is old school retro, and they look the part. Their promos are the part. They have another girl in their faction, and they shoot like these old school ass promos, and like they look great. They're fucking phenomenal.
Real quick,
but they're having a huge pop.
Did you see their shirt that they released with the meat? It says meat.
I didn't see it.
Okay, so they have a shirt, meat spin, something like that, whatever. But Mansoor of MXM, he was promoting it, and then he had a meatspin.com. If you clicked on that link, it took you to a porn site. And it was to the point where Mansoor had to delete it because people trolls were like, "Hey, at Tony Kong, why is this shirt taking me to a porn site? I thought this was a."
He took the fun out of it, man. He took the fun out. I get it though,
but I clicked on it, and the first thing you see is male on male penetration while a dick is spinning. First thing you see.
Imagine someone's like, "Oh my god, I can't wait to buy the Outrunner shirt," and like they just randomly go to that website.
Yeah,
you got to
granted, they were trolling, but legitimately, if a kid clicked on that, that's the first thing.
That's bad. That's very fucking bad. So Outrunners in there getting their push. Grizzled Young Vets actually show up and get immediately attacked by FTR. So I was like, man, maybe Grizzled Young Vets should have won this before the match even started, but like it seems like there's a thread with them and FTR. So there's threads being told between all these tag teams. Like I said, Acclaimed with MXM, FTR's with Grizzled Young Vets.
But the downside though, or it's that most of the shit is happening on Collision, and a lot of people don't watch Collision. It is what like,
and it's just because I think it's Saturdays. Like if it wasn't on a Saturday, I think I would watch it. Same way I watch, Raw and SmackDown throughout the week is great because Monday, Friday, I can fit that in. It's my work routine. I schedule times where I'm watching wrestling and whatnot. To where like Saturdays is like, it's just a Saturday. It's just an errand day. You got to go do shit. We're potting, like that kind of shit. Like,
yeah. And
I think the day.
And then sometimes they do it on Fridays, but it's like after SmackDown, it's like, I'm not watching another 2 hour
I got to catch
show.
back. Yeah, like for sure.
Then, work or whatever.
And maybe that's what Shockwave is. Maybe Shockwave is to move Collision to during the week and not, on a Saturday, which I'll be fine with. Like, let's see, remove Rampage, and now we have maybe Shockwave on Thursdays or whatever. I don't fucking know. Monday, football. I have no idea. That's true.
And then if you do Tuesday,
but then Raw goes up on football too. It goes up against football too. But that's also Raw.
Well, so Raw. They're still going to get 1,500,000. But then you can't do Tuesdays because then you'll be beefing with NXT again. Which NXT, both NXT and AEW were in the 700 range. Not to hashtag ratings talk, but they were both in the 700 range this week, which is good shit. That's good for both businesses. But like you don't
a side tangent.
Yeah.
Just quick side tangent. These motherfuckers talk about like ratings and like they only AEW had 700, WWE had 1.5. It's like, do you understand that amount of viewers for TV is fucking insane, right? 1.5 is out of here. You're balling. 700,000 is still out of here from NXT and AEW. That means a lot of people are fucking watching. You understand what it's like to have 700,000 people watching your shit weekly or that week? Tuesday? Like, that's fucking nuts.
And that was during the debate.
That's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
That's insane, bro. Like, so this whole like TV rating shit always fucking trips me the fuck out because people don't know what the fuck they're talking about. But
I hate it. I only use it to troll because literally ratings talk never ever came up until AEW happened, and I don't want to just point the finger at AEW, but they literally Jericho had the Demo God shirt, and like it was always we're looking for the 18 to 45. Like they started the whole ratings talk thing, which is why now people troll them when their shit doesn't do good. So it was kind of a double-edged sword type of thing, but ratings talk is like that's not what we're here for on the pod. And honestly, as a fan, that's the last thing you should fucking care about.
Because you don't understand it anyway.
Yeah, you don't who's who has the DVRs or who has the Nielsen boxes. Like that's not, as a regular fan, that's the last thing you should fucking be caring about. I just wanted to give them a shout out because they both shows did in the 700 and one show was against the debate, and I don't know what else happened on Wednesday, but Dynamite still did good. So, that was my quick tangent.
I thought the Demo guy was actually like God of War type shit. I didn't know that was like. No, that's what I thought it was.
No, it's because they had the bigger demo in the ratings. So that's what the Demo guy was about. Like,
Well, look at me trying to be all wholesome. Look at me, I had hope. I had a kind heart. Damn. Wrap this up. Ospreay and Fletcher ends up getting the shot. A lot of people were upset at this. I get it, but like we talked about before, to draw in a crowd, I think Ospreay and Fletcher are the best choice to go up against the Bucks. It just makes sense from a booking perspective. And not saying the other teams weren't cooking, but they are cooking and threads are working. You just got to watch Collision to see how all that shit pans out. But yeah, I'm not mad at that. I'm all okay with this. It makes sense to me. SmackDown, USA
season premiere,
production value shot up. I'm hyped. Before the match even started, you get the game out there. The "Are you ready?" chants always fucking hit. The part that got me was like, watching the cage come down, the pyro. Like, oh, we're spending money today. We're spending money to get this feeling of this match happening. And actually, the first 45, I guess the Cody Bloodline segment felt like a PLE.
Yeah,
like,
it
felt very pay-per-view.
The first 30 minutes was commercial free or whatever is what it felt. And it
definitely felt it.
Yeah. So season premiere, new logo, new music, which we already talked about the music. Got Megan Thee Stallion featuring was it KM or KT from BTS? I think it's KM, right?
Yeah. Let me double check. RM,
my bad. New music, new show, new logo. New logo's cool. I don't hate it. First match starts off with a banger. I don't want to say a banger, but it was actually a really good match. I would say it's Solo's best match thus far since his main roster debut, at least in my opinion. Like,
I can give you that.
It was a really good cage match. There was no shenanigans, there was no shenanigans until the match was over. I was highly surprised. This was the first cage match, I think, in forever. I mean, that there wasn't no interference until after the match.
No,
the bell already fucking rung.
I do like that. I respect that.
But there was a couple dope spots. Cody gets, I don't know if it was on purpose or what, but Cody gets busted open in the first 10 minutes. It was like, oh shit, we got blood, okay. But they patched it up really good because after that, it was pretty they patched it up really good. So I don't know I highly doubt that. Makes me feel like it was an accident because one, it was in the first 10 minutes, and then two, they got that shit patched up real nice to where he wasn't bleeding at all.
He wasn't bleeding no more.
We got a really dope Cody cutter. Solo does a really good
off the cage.
Yeah, off the cage. Solo does a really good superplex, damn near off the cage. There's a moment where Cody jumps off the cage, and I
fucking nuts.
I put a note in there. Notice how it was a cross body, and he didn't just jump down and land on his fucking legs and break his knees.
Messy. He's being messy.
Jesus,
he's being messy. The one thing I did notice about that spot was it was a dope spot. But if you watch how hard Solo hit his head on that fucking mat, bro, it was fucking crazy. Because he came down perfectly, everything was safe. It was just so much pressure from coming, or so much force from jumping that high that his head just recoiled off the fucking mat. It was a brutal fucking head spot. You can see if you watch the match, he was kind of talking to the ref hold on, give me a sec. That shit was it wasn't stiff. He was just hurting a lot, respectfully.
He saw Tweety first for a hustle.
Some people, yeah, absolutely. Some people would question well, why didn't Cody do a moonsault? Why the fuck would you do a moonsault?
Because he did it before in WWE and he did it in AEW when he fought
I get that.
Not Randall Cobb. That's the football player. What's his name? Something Cobb. You know what I'm talking about?
Jeff Cobb?
Jeff Cobb. Yeah, there we go. Something Cobb. Shit.
Not Randall Cobb. They're asking for a moonsault. I was like, nah, he's not doing no moonsault in WWE off the top. That's fucking crazy. Check this crossbody.
I thought that's what he was doing based off the camera angle. I was
nuts.
like, oh, he's doing the fucking the moonsault spot. And then once I saw Solo was standing up, I was like, okay, cool. Please be a crossbody. Please don't do what Edge did. And someone else did. I can't remember because someone else did it literally 3-4 weeks after Edge did, and we talked about it on the pod, but it pissed me off. But yeah, it was a crossbody. There was another good big spot, but I don't necessarily remember what it was. What surprised me was that Cody gets the He gets the pin. He gets a clean pin in the middle of the ring off of a crossroads. He did a crossroads earlier in the match that homie kicked out of, and then fucking Solo. He has his Uranagi is now called the spinning Solo, and I'm like, when the fuck did they do that? And I'm like, okay,
that's what I was wondering too. I was like, the spinning Solo,
like,
another
what?
spinning Solo, and I was like, have I been deaf this entire time? I've never heard that before.
No, that is
a spinning Solo,
definitely new, and it's like, what is? He's not really spinning. He has a slight rotation on his Uranagi, but I wouldn't say it's, to me, a spin is a full rotation. It's a full 360-degree rotation or some shit, right? So
a slight turn and then that's it.
Yeah, and
I don't know.
And then Roman hits a Uranagi not that far after, and it's like, that's a clean ass.
Oh, it's Uranagi.
That's a clean ass Uranagi.
It was.
No, you gotta learn some shit, bro. But yeah, anyway, Cody wins. He wins clean, and that's when the Bloodline come out, and they're beating the shit out of Cody. Beating the dog breaks on him.
They crowded him like some dogs. They climbed the cage to get to him, which was fire. I like. If y'all gonna be some animals, climb the cage and put that pressure on them, and they definitely did that.
Yeah, and there was a point in time where Fatu was probably. It looked like he was going to do a moonsault. It looks like he was going to do the moonsault off the cage, or it's not a swanton because he has a couple aerial moves in his bag. But then that's when he
did a moonsault. He did the running moonsault off the top of the turnbuckle to hit Cody, and then he went up and looked at the cage and was going to do it again, and I was like, oh, this motherfucker crazy.
Yeah, and that's when we hear Roman's
he just might.
And Roman comes out, Roman comes out. He has a badass moment where he walks in because all the Bloodliners simply, they're all in the cage. He walks in. Obviously, he's outnumbered. He shuts the cage down. He has great facial expressions. He's like, "We're gonna get this motherfucking work." It has a good fucking good back and forth. Eventually, him and Cody take over. They get the upper hand. They're still teasing Roman and Fatu touching. As far as having a good back and forth, they're still teasing that because there's a point where Roman takes out Tama and Loa, and he tells him, "Come inside this ring, bro. Come on here. Come on now.
Come on.
Yeah,
come holler at your boy.
That's my Fatu." That's a Shannon Sharp joke based off of what happened this week. And then Cody and Roman get the upper hand, and you see.
Yo, something is truly wrong with you. I just want you to.
I thought he was going to make a whole pod and not do a single.
We were so close. Single
Shannon Sharp joke.
We were so close. So close.
Come on, Lola. Come on now.
They said that man was breathing like he had the Batman mask on. I was like, why? I never needed to hear that in my life. I did not. I could have went my whole life without hearing that shit.
But yeah, we get the 2-man power trip tease of maybe it looks like Roman and Cody both took out the Bloodline, and they looking at each other. They don't trust each other. They definitely don't like each other. But we get a nice little tease, and that plays off through the whole entire rest of the show.
Yeah, one quick thing I want to note about this is that while he's in the ring with Cody, and Solo puts on the Ulafala, he's looking back and forth at both. Like, he's distracted by Cody having the title. He's also distracted by Solo having the necklace. He's like, fuck, bro. I'm trying to decide which one I really want to go after because both of them are really important. So the subtle details are there that Roman has his eyes on that WWE Championship too. After the Roman and Cody match, we get a quick little match, or not Roman Cody, but the Roman Cody segment. We get a quick match between Michin and Piper, and I don't know if you would call it a quick match.
It was a quick match.
I don't think you call it match. It was in and out.
Yeah.
I guess the pop of that was the Unprettier from Chelsea Green on the trash can to Michin, so they'll probably end up doing some more shit down the line.
It was. Yeah, no, it's confirmed for next Friday that Chelsea versus Michin in a dumpster match.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And I will say real quick, I was surprised. Yeah, sure, whatever. I was surprised that Beach had won against Piper, and like they're definitely pushing her. They're pushing her. They're giving her time. It seems like it seems like she's a utility player now. I mean, to me, she's kind of always been, but like based off the last like 3 months or so, like what she was doing in NXT, her match against Nia, like she's being used a lot more, and that's some good shit. And I was shocked at how clean she beat Piper, because Piper was gonna go for her, not the Annihilator, but whatever her version of it is. I don't remember the name. And then Michin caught her on the ropes, and then hit her with the Eat Defeat, and then got a quick win. And that's when Chelsea, they jumped her and whatnot. But it was a cool little quick ass match.
The show is also like star-studded. We have RVD, there's Vicky Guerrero, there is Teddy Long, my boy Bobby Roode's in the house,
Booker T, Priest, Gunther, Ludwig, Teddy Long, Ron Simmons.
Oh man, damn!
And I
shout out to Ron Simmons.
I think that was it. I think we named all of them.
Yeah, we'll go with that. Yeah. There was a A-Town Down Under versus KO and his mystery partner. And people were like, "Oh my!" Just surprised, waiting for the mystery partner to come out, and it's Ricky. Who's Rick? You say Ricky. Ain't nobody have one goddamn clue who the hell Ricky was. Nope. But he came out there excited. He was ready to go, ready to be your partner. That's my partner up there. And people were like, what the fuck is that? We then get a word from the
a random woman.
Ringside help. They're like, random woman, never seen before. She's like, he's here. Oh, he's here? Oh. He says, hey, Reggie, no offense. And just immediately stunners him. The Viper comes out, so we get a tag match between Randy Orton, KO versus A-Town Down Under. Honestly, like I'm ready for this feud with A-Town Down Under to finally just happen. Like the breakups, I need it to happen. I'm done seeing them two right now. If they're not tag team champs, we're not doing anything. I have no care.
And I understand that. The only thing is that one, we talked about the tag division, and besides the Bloodline, pretty deadly. There's pretty deadly in the Bloodline. Those are the only heel tag teams on SmackDown right now. Oh well, no, Legado. Yeah, it's just they got to find something for them to do and keep them on TV. And the other point is that Triple H. I mean, obviously, there's pros and cons to his booking, and his biggest pro is also his biggest con, which is the long-term storytelling, where it's like, I love long-term storytelling, like the shit, like with Finn Balor, or, just Judgment Day, or, Bloodline shit, or whatever. Like there's a lot of good examples, but then, you can point out we still have yet to capitalize off the Otis and Chad single match. And
I think the long-term storytelling works when people have the aura to carry that. You can long-term storytell with certain superstars, but you can't do that with every superstar. You can't long-term storytell currently with a Michin. Like you got to capitalize on that momentum right now kind of thing.
Yeah, I feel like you shouldn't do it with everyone. Because by the time we get this Chad Gable Otis match, I mean, shit. If we get it, which I mean, at this point, it should be. If it's it should be in the next couple of weeks at this point. After because we talked about it. The Wyatt. At this point, the American Made versus Wyatt 6 should be done. They've already done everything at this point. So you should go back to the Otis Chad shit, and it's one of those. And we talked about it a couple of weeks. We talked about it the other month or whatever, and it's sometimes is it going to be too late? Are people still going to care? And I feel like they would, because Otis is still hot. Once he does the worm or the caterpillar or whatever, people will pop for that and it will get hot. But there is a detriment to waiting too long to do something. which Triple H hasn't done it. I feel like his track record is still more positive than negative, but I feel like Chad and Otis is a great example of possibly waiting too long. This Theory and Waller shit is another example of possibly waiting too long. I'll give Theory and Waller a small caveat, just because I feel like the reason with the difference between the two examples I gave, I feel like it might need to take a little longer to make fans believe Theory as a face, because he's so easily, like, it's so easy to hate him. So I feel like that's why they are taking a very long time. But at the same time, you have to make it interesting, because as of right now, to me, it's not that interesting.
And when you talk about, and you said it earlier with like the aura aspect, they have the same issue that Pure Fusion has. I think that like a little bit better because they both can talk on the mic, but as far as like caring for what they're talking about and caring for like the characters, like, nah, man, like the Grayson Waller show doesn't really do it. There's nothing personable that you're like, damn, I really like that. That's really cool. Like, LA Knight has Chad had the shoosh. Like, there's something that connected you with the fans, and I don't think that they have anything that connects them with the fans, which is why I'm losing interest in them currently. So there's nothing for me to like look forward to when I see.
Yeah, they don't have a catchphrase like a shush or anything like that. Like they have a little more. Or again, sorry to be such a millennial, but or old head, but they have a little more aura compared to PFC. But yeah, you're right. Like they don't have like a catchphrase or something to like that hook you on to something like I mean, even when Miz is even when the Miz is a heel, is like when my mouth goes up or when my hand goes up, your mouth goes shut. And I'll pop for that shit. I'll do it with you. I'll do it with them. Like, yeah, y'all niggas need to be quiet. Miz is talking, but like they don't have anything like that.
And yeah, we don't even call Pretty Deadly. It's Yes Boys. Like,
Yes Boys.
That's their thing. Like even Pretty Deadly's not wrestling, but it's like Pretty Deadly the musical. Yeah. Like we know what their entertainment purpose is of the show, and like with Grayson and Waller, or Theory and Waller, I just don't fucking know. I'm just over it at this point. I'm just dry.
Yeah.
Pause. That sounds crazy. We get a Nia promo. Or actually, before that, Cody says he's done with the Bloodline. He's done with the Bloodline. It's Roman Reigns' problem.
Right.
Put a pin in that.
And right before that, okay, because like Kathy Kelly was talking to Aldis, and like Aldis had the typical contract signing little, not an envelope, but book, whatever. And he's like, Solo, and he gave me an offer that he said I could refuse, and I'm gonna talk to these two, and I think we're gonna do a tag match. And that's like when Cody instantly comes in, and so it's like, did Cody hear this? And this is a nitpick. This is a production editing nitpick. But like, how did Cody instantly walk to the room and knew what was in his hand? And he's like, I ain't doing that shit. To me,
I think he had said something like he had like overheard, or like I heard that is like, I'm not doing that.
Yeah, I feel like they could have communicated a little better, because to me he didn't say I overheard it. Like he walked to the room, he's like, this ain't my job. This ain't my problem. I have no interest in signing.
I will not sign that. He's like, how do you know? I didn't tell you. Yeah. I will not sign that.
So that's my editing nitpick. I just got to keep the same energy. I do it for AEW. I got to do it for WWE. I got to keep the same energy. But it's a story. It's a thing that they tell throughout the rest of the 2-hour show.
We get the Nia promo, and put in the group chat. This one had a very interesting like stipulation. What did you mean by that? Take this one away.
To me, it was convoluted by the way they explained it. But before I get into that, I did want to say real quick, and this is just a rumor, that when Nia came out and she was in her outfit, again, this is a rumor, I heard that DT was breathing like Shannon Sharp. Now, I wasn't there, but my sources tell me that he physically, on a cellular level, changed into a Tax Avery cartoon wolf and started banging on tables. I wasn't there for it. And I'm not judging.
Oh, man, that's funny. It's crazy. He has a thing to do. He does the, what do you call it? The Braun Breaker barks when he sees fine women. We got to calm him down. You got to keep him okay. Keep him chill. But I don't doubt that.
It's not in my notes, but okay. So essentially, because Bayley's comes out, Bayley wants a rematch. Then Tiffany comes out, so it's Bayley versus Bailey and Tiffany and Nia all in the ring, and then Naomi comes out. And she wants a title match. So Nia Jax is like, all right, I have an idea. Why don't we have a tag match? If you guys win, essentially whoever gets the pin fights me at Bad Blood. But if we get the win, whoever gets pinned, which that part isn't said, but essentially is if we win, whoever gets pinned has to leave SmackDown. So the reason I said it was convoluted because it is. It just doesn't make that much sense.
They didn't explain that.
It's just like I mean, in Michael Cole, he does further explain it to make it make some sense, but even then, it's still just like it's just one of those things where it's like there was an easier route to take, and you guys chose to walk uphill instead of just like walking on the flat road. Like there was an easier route to take for that particular gimmick or whatever the fuck. There was just an easier route to take that would have made more sense than what they did. Michael Cole re-explaining it makes it make more sense, but again, it's still a little convoluted because it
is
because here's the two options. We're gonna get the tag match next week, and there's gonna be a moment where Bailey and Naomi like pull each other off the pin or some shit, and then eventually one of them will get the match. Or what happens is because Nia's fighting someone at Bad Blood regardless, so to me it tells me one of them is going to get the match. But if they want to swerve us, then it's Nia and Tiffany winning. One of those two are going to go to Raw. I don't think it's going to be Naomi because Naomi is like we talk about couples all the time. Naomi and Jim are a thing, and Jimmy eventually is going to come back. So do they send Bailey to Raw? They could. But like we know Nia is fighting someone at Bad Blood, so that means the person on that hypothetical losing team is still going to get a title match. So like if Bailey gets pinned, she'll go to Raw. That means Naomi is still going to get that title match, hypothetically, based on the card because we know it says Nia versus TBA.
Look at you, deductive reasoning. It's happening. Yeah.
So it's just it just seems convoluted. There's just an easier route.
Unless you do like the whole like I don't know like DQ aspect and nobody fucking wins, I guess.
If they do a DQ, then that means you got to do a fucking like triple threat. I feel like we've already seen that.
Exactly.
We've seen that when it was Bailey, Tiffany, and Naomi. So then what? We do Bailey, Nia, Naomi. So it's another two friends again in another triple threat. I don't know.
Here's the opposite of that, right? Because you were like, oh, couples stay together. What if that's not the case? What if Jimmy's going to fucking Raw?
It's plausible because Ludwig and Tiffany are still on separate shows. But I mean, Jimmy and Naomi, they're married. I mean, I don't know, and I feel like Jimmy has more pull than a Ludwig or a Tiffany. And same with Naomi. I feel like she has a little more pull.
Wait. You think Tiff is supposed to move too?
No, I'm not saying that.
You think
I'm just saying like as far as like going to management and having your way and like politicking, I feel like Jimmy or Naomi will have a little more say. So it's like if Jimmy went into the office and went to Triple H, or if Naomi went to the office, like I need to stay on the same show as my spouse, I feel like they would be granted that more than someone else. Because Tiffany and Ludwig are dating and they live together, but they're still on separate shows.
And they're separated. And I guess the smart option is that Tiffany, or not Tiffany, but Naomi gets the pin and Bailey ends up going to Raw. But the thing is that puts Bailey back over there with like damage control. But the thing is Raw also needs another superstar woman to kind of like hold shit down. While Rhea's doing shit with, Damian Priest, you're going to need somebody to challenge Liv, right? And I think that because the women's Raw title has been up in limbo due to like the storyline between fucking Rhea and Liv, and I think Bailey can go over there, kind of like get shit jumping for them for the time being.
Becky, if she ever comes back.
That like there's I don't know. This is very convoluted, and there's a lot of different options that you can go with, but the option that makes the most sense is Bailey going to Raw. To where she doesn't get a rematch versus Nia, but maybe she gets a title shot against Liv.
We'll see. I'm gonna have to let it play out because honestly, to me it just makes my head hurt because if the heels win and then the loser who gets pinned goes to the other show, why is the other person on the losing team still getting a title shot then at a pay-per-view or a PLE, whatever? It's just it just doesn't make any sense.
To end the night, we got the Roman promo. Roman, he's barring up here. This man comes out. I don't need him. I don't need no contact. This is a family business. I don't need no partner. I don't need Cody Rhodes. Wait. I am the only. Whoa, what happened?
Andrade versus Mello.
Oh fuck, you're right. 5,
Match 5.
Mello versus Andrade 5, or Mello versus
fire ass match.
Oh shit, I definitely forgot about that. They was cooking. Them boys is. Yeah,
man.
At this point, I need it on a pay-per-view. I need a stipulation.
Yeah, I need them to do a best of 7. Honestly, if they repeated what happened with the Bar to where this they become a tag team just to give them something to do, I would not be upset with it. They would have to make a little more sense because Carmelo's been extremely disrespectful. But
1000%.
But honestly, I wouldn't be upset with it because Raw is a loaded show, especially with Roman back. Motherfuckers are going to need TV time. I wouldn't be upset if they turned this into a tag team similar with the Bar or even similar with Faxium, Nathan Frazier and Axiom. But I think I need a best of 7. I think we got to go NBA rules with this one.
I think they are. They've been counting. They've said this one was Andrade's up 3, Melo's down 2. So they're definitely paying attention to how many. So it definitely will be a best of 7. They called it Andrade has won the 3 out of the 5 or whatever. So they're keeping track for sure.
But yeah, Andrade wins.
We didn't get LA Knight though.
Andrade wins. LA Knight comes out, cuts a. To me, this was a very odd promo. It was good, but it was odd. And I say it, or maybe odd's not the right word. But okay, so you know how LA Knight ever since the Bray Wyatt feud, were the LA Knight haters were like, oh, he just sounds like The Rock or Stone Cold. He just sounds like Attitude Era people, blah, blah, blah. Out of all the times I've ever believed in that argument, it would have been in this show. And it was because of this promo. Where it's like, it sounded so much. It's like, it was like everything was a joke or a gimmick to where it's like, I'm gonna hit it and quit it. You're gonna go to it sounded like The Rock, where it's like, I'm gonna take you to the Smackdown hotel and I'm gonna beat your candy ass and then I'm gonna do this and then like everything was like
everything had a punchline.
Yeah, it was like it was like a thing. Every part had a bit to it. It was like you had a bit, comma or period, then a bit was like, it was like all right, you just I wish I could repeat what he said, but it was literally. It was very similar. It was very similar to Rock. So it was like, this was the one time where I was like, oh, I think I understand where the haters are coming from. This was a very, to me, it was kind of weird. I don't think weird is even the right word. It was just off. I was like, this is not the LA Knight that I like. This is the LA Knight that motherfuckers I see on internet hate. And I was sort of seeing it a little bit.
End result is that they set up next week. We'll get LA Knight versus Andrade for the U.S. title. Yeah. So we're definitely getting a feud from this. I think the feud was also teased last week too. So I wouldn't be surprised if Mello interferes.
Probably. We'll probably get a triple threat. We for sure are going to get a best. I hope we get a best of 7. But I think we'll get
a best of 7. But next week's definitely ending in interference DQ. Yeah. You think you can get a title shot on me? No. You got to finish this before you can even get that title shot. So next week we'll definitely end in DQ. Punch it. I would bet if I was a betting man. But back to the Roman promo. We finally get the O in the OTC. Now it's the only tribal chief
and original. It's 2 things, which we guessed. We talked about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He says, "This is my ring, my show, my WWE." And the funny thing to me, I was like, "Damn, niggas thought he was gonna be a babyface when he came back." No, he's still in the same bullshit. He's still on the same. Fuck y'all. I'll run this bitch. What you gonna do about it?
Which is how he starts that promo off too. He's like, I'm still me. I'm the same.
I don't need none of y'all, bro. Like, you thought I was gonna come back humble? Oh, I lost. I'm here to look at my wounds now. Fuck that. Fuck all y'all. I don't need none of this. This is my camera still. I'm the one making the money here.
I'm the tribal chief.
And he's right.
I'm the only tribal chief. I'm the original tribal chief. This is my camera. This is my ring. This is my WWE. That Ula Fala, that's my Ula Fala. You see that, people?
I don't need it.
These are my fans.
Look.
That sign right there, that's my sign.
He's not wrong, bro. The man is like
not.
you. I am money here. Cody didn't like that. Enters Cody. Cody, your ring, your WWE. Well, it hasn't been since WrestleMania, and that was the most oralist fucking bar I ever heard from the champion.
Okay,
in my fucking
before the
life,
oralist part, he was like, "Well, it was." That part hit because based off of Roman's facial expressions, it hit, and then he was like, "Oh, well, since WrestleMania," I was like, "Okay, well, that's just."
It's like, God damn it! Can you be a champion?
He is a champion.
I need you to buck up. Where's the energy at? Every time, but never mind. I'm not gonna get into it. Nah, fuck that. I am gonna get into it. This is the most like oralist fucking run, bro. He's had great fucking matches, but I need Cody to have a worthy fucking story and boss up to these niggas like you the goddamn champion.
What is more worthy than what happened tonight? The Kevin Owens.
You tagging with the nigga that you beat? That's weird,
Bruh. Okay. All right. So wait,
we hate each other.
Are you on the same hatred train with that storyline as DT and some of the like super Roman fans are, or do you just dislike it because you think it's just weird?
I dislike it. I think it's weird.
Okay.
I don't think that like I don't have like anything deep.
All right. Well, some people.
Like I just think that
there's
like
a lot of people that have deep. Pause. But
what's the deep angle? What's the wait? Where's this going?
Roman stands. You know how DT is, and or Ice Cube son, or just some other people.
I don't. Nah, it's not that deep for me. I just don't like the idea of like because you can't control the train that Roman is and how much like he pulls for the WWE audience. Like we talked about it when Roman came back, how Cody was going to be able to manage like him being here. And the easiest way to handle that is by just throwing him in a tag team to where you don't have to worry about who's opening, who's closing the show because they're together right now, right? You will just contain this whole who is the bigger star by just putting him in the tag team. I just hate it because of that. I would rather like you let Cody be Cody and keep him separate from the bloodline shit because he's a champion. He doesn't need to be invested in this. Like I said, what the original promo was that this is bloodline business. This is their shit. I'm done with them. I did this last year. I did this for 2 years. Why am I still here? We don't need Cody and bloodline shit for the third year now, going for it or going on because it was last year and now it was this year. Like
I mean, I guess it'll be 3 for.
It's like 2.5.
Yeah, 2 now. I don't know. I don't know the time. All right, so
it's
my thing with it is that one, it's a typical wrestling trope. Well, the will they won't they thing, right? And somehow like this is a slightly different version of it. It's not the typical like because usually when we see the will they won't they, it's the number one contender versus whoever the champion is, and then they gotta tag for a match or some shit like that. This is a slightly different version of the will they won't they thing. But the reason why I think one, or I don't want to say I told you so because I'm not saying this directly to you, but I talked about this on the pod on several occasions. I said that this tag match was going to happen, and it did. It happened way sooner than I thought it would, but I said it was going to happen.
You did,
and it's happening. And to me, I don't understand the hatred or the dislike of it. I do understand what you said when you I understand your argument because you actually articulated well versus some of the people on Twitter. But again, this is a typical trope, and it's not even just a wrestling trope. It's a trope that's in. And I was talking because DT literally texted me randomly last night. I hate you, and I was like, what did I do? He's like, this is happening. And I was like, I told you it was going to happen. But the thing is, it's not even it's not even just a wrestling trope. It's a trope that happens in comic books, anime, movies. It happens literally in everything. 3-4 years ago, Goku and Frieza teamed up. Goku and Frieza. Like this happens all the time.
But it's like, okay, no, it's the timeline of that. Think about it. Imagine if Goku and Frieza teamed up in the Cell games. You're like, he just killed your best friend, and now you're about to fight Cell with him. Like, this is weird, my boy. I think like the reason why the Cody and Roman shit is like, you made us pick one, hypothetically, pick one for 2 years, and now you're gonna play in our face by making us like the fact that they're together in a team. Like, no, we were so invested in finish the story or Bloodline, and now you just want to play with our emotions and like, oh, we're gonna put them together because you guys are. It's all right, they're friends now, and they're not. But
friends,
you know, but it's just like it's just weird in that aspect.
The enemy of my enemy is
we're so
that's a quote that means like it's
but
cliche,
to fight other Bloodline niggas. Imagine you get jumped by these niggas, right? And then the following year, you're like, you know, y'all did jump me, but I'm gonna help you fight your cousin because your cousin don't like you no more. What is Cody's investment in this? Nothing. He doesn't get anything out of this.
He wants to get out of it, and the only way to get out of it is to have another match. Apparently,
the only way to get out of it is to pull the Gunther and be like, no, he can get jumped in the handicap. Let Jimmy or Jay come help him out. I'm out of
but
this.
You can't just
you
can't just say no to a gang.
Even in that, like
Bloodline is a gang. You say,
hey, well, you're not a part of that shit. And the funny part is, even during this whole promo, you can hear Solo in the back like, he don't even like you. He not gonna sign. That was the best part. He don't like you.
that was the best.
That was the greatest part.
Do that shit.
And it was facts. It's like, he ain't gonna do that. He don't like you like that. And then when you sign, like, oh, he's signing? Like, it's so weird. Well, okay. But I get it. Because now this calls up a shitstorm for Cody, too. Because now next week it's like, oh, so you just teaming with Roman? Like, I was hesitating on my championship match because you my friend, but you gonna team with Roman? Randy still that you team. There's storylines, there's threads. I get it. I see the threads.
Like this, that's why I said this was going to happen. Like KO is going to get upset. Seth Rollins will get upset. Randy Orton will eventually get upset.
Oh,
and then the best part, because I didn't see anyone talk about it, is that like this was Solo. Solo was trying to play a mind game and it backfired.
Yes,
he was trying to play like he was like, oh, there's no way they'll team up. So guess what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna set up a tag match because these niggas will never. Braun and Steph will never team up. Batman and Superman, they'll never team up.
I hate that comparison too. I saw that shit too.
There's 1,000 comparisons. It's not the best one. But like when we saw what they did at the Olympics, it was like fucking finally. When we saw Braun and Steph finally team up, I was like, fuck, that was the greatest shit ever. Like what they did to other countries, I was so proud to be American. At that point, but no, you're right. It's not the best comparison, but it like story element wise, it's like Solo had a plan and it completely backfired because like, oh, these niggas will never team up. They hate each other. Yada, all this history, and like, but at the same time, his arrogance made them get pushed to such a limit to where it's like, fuck it, like they're like, again, like to bring it back to wrestling, The Rock and Stone Cold have teamed up before. Stone Cold and Triple H were a legit tag team to where they had titles. Rock and Mankind.
It's just the longevity. It's just investment scope of it. It has nothing to do with like y'all being enemies and tagging. That's fine and normal. It's the investment. This was different, bro. Finish the story versus Bloodline caused a rift. You just said to me like there's Bloodline fans. Them niggas is different, bro. I think when Roman came back, I saw on Twitter that somebody had deactivated their account when Roman had lost, and they just reactivated their account when he came back at SummerSlam. That's how serious like this shit is to some people. But it's just the investment part of it. I do get the story elements because even on the Roman side of it, to where when Rock's like, okay, so you team with the dude who beat you and you turn it on family, like I see it. That makes the most sense for Rock to be like, oh, I really can't fuck with you. You forgot where you came from by attacking Solo. You should have helped Solo get the belt.
Solo turned on him before
with Roman and Rock.
Rock is probably the one who sent out the like. We won't know how the story plays out until
we'll never know.
But,
we won't know.
There's guesstimations where it's like.
But and the thing is like what you said that this is Solo backfiring. It could have been Solo. It could be Solo's greatest plan by setting this up because it puts a lot of pressure on Cody. Cody's going to get fucked over because like so many people are going to come after him, and all Solo got to do is handle fucking Roman, and Bloodline got to handle that. It's going to cause a shitstorm for both of them. They're going to win the match. It's going to be a great fucking match, but the shit after that is going to be fucking nuts, bro. Like, I'm invested. I do think it's weird just because we were so invested in picking a side that you made them team up. That's the only reason why I think it feels this way. Because if you did Seth and Drew team up, it's like, okay, you guys do hate each other, but there's not a lot of bad blood between the two of y'all. Y'all had some battles. He beat you for the title. Okay, I get that. But these two motherfuckers, it's different. It's very different.
It's different, but I don't think it's that different for what I was telling DT. It was like it's a simple storytelling device to where, again, like it happens in comics, anime. Like sometimes it's the typical trope. The enemy of your enemy becomes your friend, even if it's for a short amount of time. They're dealing with a gang that has Fatu, who is very OP, and the way that one of the reasons I liked it so much was because Roman and Cody they're both so very good with their body language and their facial. Like if you guys rewatch because I rewatched the 8-minute, like, because it was a whole spoiler, well, not spoiler, but like this segment was an overrun. It cut off soon as, like, if you watch the regular show, the show cut off soon as Solo's music turned on. Like, you had to watch it overrun. Like, WWE's on some AEW shit the last couple of weeks to where it's like, if you don't record the next fucking show, you might miss something, and that's starting to piss me off a little bit, because I had to, my shit cut off soon as Solo's music went on, and I had to watch the whole, the whole segment online. But like, if you watch, if you see their body language, like, they don't want to do this. Like, they don't want it. Like, they still fucking,
they're telling the story.
Hate each other. But
for sure,
it's the enemy of my enemy is my friend. We got.
It's just,
let's take these niggas. Like, it's similar to like when Apocalypse showed up and Magneto and Charles, like the Brotherhood and X-Men. They got to work together real quick. Like, yes, they're all mutants, but they have different visions. But neither of our visions will be achieved if this motherfucker is successful. We got to take this motherfucker out first, and then
that's not the case, because like,
it's the same
with the Apocalypse and the mutant shit. It's like, okay, he's gonna wipe out all the mutants. He's gonna, or keep a select few of us. He's gonna take us out. With Roman and Cody, it's like Solo's not the threat. There's no big Omega level threat that Solo is. He has nothing that's like, oh my god, we're afraid. No, they're just teaming up to jump this dude because they don't like the bloodline.
No, I disagree. That the Omega level threat is Fatu. And you can't stop. No one can stop this.
No,
nigga.
Nah, not yet. Nah. If Fatu had came out and like demolished Cody and stole his fucking belt, okay, then yeah, for sure. We got to stop him because he's running shit now. That's not the case. We don't even know anything yet. Like, Fatu can still come out and be solid, but if Roman's here, Roman might get the win. I don't fucking know, but there's no true threat level for Fatu just yet because we haven't got anything. Like, he's been terrorizing everybody, but he's not
taking any damage. That's why he is the threat.
Nah, not to the point to where like the team up makes sense. Because Roman was ready to fight him by himself. If that was the case, Roman would have fought him by himself. Roman wanted him to get in the ring. Solo pulled him out.
Yeah, but Roman's doing that because he's arrogant as shit. Otherwise, he would have waited for Jimmy. Like, a real strategist wouldn't have went into a cage and locked it when it's 4v1. He's doing it based off of emotion. He's not, because his wise man's not.
And in that point, it should have been, okay, Jacob went in there and just fucking bodied Roman, and then you get the tag team. You should have let them touch, and they like, okay, I need help taking him out.
Well, Jacob did attack Roman.
That's that.
Just Roman's never got his lick back.
Then let him try to get his lick back the second time and it still doesn't work. Okay, damn, I need help. I can't fucking fight him by myself. That would make more sense to me. Versus like, shit, I might need help. So why don't you come help me?
Well, right now he does need help because Jimmy's not around. Jay's not around. He has no wise man. It's literally Roman by himself.
No, not according to that nigga. That nigga said, I don't need nobody. I don't need no partner. I don't need no Cody. He said all that.
And then what happened? He got jumped. He got jumped to a certain extent. He got jumped to where he...
And was still willing to fight these niggas.
Right, but he signed the contract first.
I'm just saying that.
So that means he reached his boiling point to where...
That he has to... Like, there has to be a point. Like, there has to be, like, a true reason why they're teaming up. And the team up to just take down Solo and Jacob does not seem like that was worth the build-up. To where I do agree to the point to where you're like, the tag team happened maybe a little too soon, right? I feel like the tag team was going to happen, but for this doesn't make sense to me currently right now with the resources that I have. Eventually, in the next 3 weeks, shit might make more sense. But as far as like right now, it's like, you're the champion. you don't even like Roman. You don't like the Bloodline. Why are you helping him? Roman didn't come out and save you from anything. He wouldn't. I mean, I guess he did
twice
when the SummerSlam shit. He technically
twice.
did. But it's like, okay, maybe this is your way of paying him back. And if that's the case, say that. Maybe that's going to come in other fucking promos. But just say like, hey, I'm only doing this because you had my back, kind of thing. Whatever.
I think
because this seemed like it had nothing. It had none of that element attached to it. That's why people might be.
No,
upset.
I understand that. To me, they did do that with their body language, and I feel like, I mean, we still have time for Bad Blood to where they can do that with their words. But after that second attack, and Roman picks up the contract again, and like he does all the perfect facial expressions. Like, I really don't want to sign this shit, but I want to get rid of these niggas. I want my shit back, so then I can focus on what the most important thing, not just the Ulafala, but the Undisputed Championship. Like, you see him, like, he hesitates to pick it up. He doesn't want to sign it. He's like, oh, he's begrudgingly doing it, and then he signs it. And then, like, when he signs it, look at Cody's body language, and he's like, "Oh, this motherfucker really just did shit." He's like, "He's really about this? All right, bet." Like he has a certain body language where it's like, "This motherfucker really just signed this shit. I can't." He really is he serious about teaming with me to beat up these like there's. Just rewatch the clip. Rewatch the clip. I'm not
trust that.
Rewatch the clip and just look at the body language. I agree with you. We need some more explanation because this was Roman's first time talking, and he was still on his old Roman shit. Like, he has, as of right now, there's no accountability yet. Like, so when we eventually do get Jimmy back, when we eventually do get Jay, like, niggas actually go on the apology tour, like, it's going to hit. As of right now, though, Roman, like you said, he's still himself. There's no accountability right now. And he's by himself right now because Wiseman's not on TV. We know he's alive and he's in backstage, but Wiseman's not on TV. Jimmy's not on TV. He's literally by himself. Just, I urge everyone else just to, like, rewatch it's an 8-minute segment. Just, like, watch the body language. They are saying, like, they're telling the story, and knock on wood. I mean, I'm hoping they'll translate it again with more words, but they are telling the story with their, like, their facial expressions and their body language. Like,
yeah, the acting part of it, they definitely
don't want to work together.
They're doing their part. It's just, like I said, people are just way too invested in Bloodline and finish the story. That shit literally had households apart. Yeah. You know, when Cody won, it was like, fuck. When I didn't think Roman should lose, and it was too much investment to do this to the fan base.
It's a TV show. You guys got to get over it.
Man, speaking of TV show, one thing I did not like, get the goddamn credits out. I get it. I understand the executive producer, but it made me feel like I was watching Seinfeld. And I was like, I don't need this. I don't know if you've seen it, but when the show cut off, it was like executive producer Paul Levesque and, like,
I saw Lee Fitting. I saw the pictures.
Yeah,
and I was like this South Park font.
Yeah, it was so small. I was like, okay, and I get it because Triple H has said before, this is a TV show about wrestling. I get that, but the executive producer, we all know who he is. Like, we all know who's running this shit. Like, you can Google fucking WWE and Paul Levesque is going to pop up.
Okay, real quick, based on that, did you see the post he did today? It was pretty much a behind the scenes of SmackDown, and so it was pretty much like just like a TikTok or a clip of, like, him working, and it had the Megan song in it, and it's like, damn, this nigga posted his own, like, highlight clip with Megan's music. It's fire though. Like, he is working. Hey,
yeah, but it's the TV show element, I guess. One nitpick, beginning of the show, there was a blackout. And, like, I don't know, it was muted audio or a blackout or something like that on USA. And I was like, wait, we can watch Law and Order on USA. I could watch a whole fucking murder case on USA. But God forbid somebody's like, this is awesome, or, fucking
holy shit chance. And it's like, yeah, people,
whatever. Holy shit chance.
Say shit on multiple
shows. We can't say holy shit on USA, but I can watch fucking Ice-T fucking catch people. I was gonna say something, but I'm just hold on. Baca's got a real case.
Sex criminal, yeah, he does. Why is he around?
Why is he around? We're getting the show here, people. Very long show, but we had to get to everything. Next week we'll be back with the regular stuff. The Raw, Dynamite, SmackDown. Thank y'all for listening. Thank y'all for tuning in. We greatly appreciate it. We can't wait to record the next one. We're going to throw the poll up of which show is better between All In and All Out. So definitely stay tuned for that. But yeah, we're going to get out of here. Thank you for tuning in. It's been real. Peace out.
Too sweet.